Every photograph that we make, it's really like a seed. And if you think about the hole that you have to dig, that's all the gear that you have to buy. Literally, it's a hole. If you think about it, all the money that you spend on photography equipment, it's a hole. You're digging every lens, every camera body, every light, everything that you purchase towards the goal of being a professional photographer. That's the whole. The photographs that you make, those are seeds. Every single time you point your camera at something and take a picture, those are seeds. But here's the thing. You know what it's like at a fruit stand, right? When you have all that fruit, some fruit people want. Lots of fruit, people don't want it all. And in fact, some of those seeds don't even grow. They don't grow into trees. They don't grow into trees that bear fruit. What I'm here to do is help you turn your love for photography and your love for making photos, your love for making those seeds, and make you think just a little bit more about those seeds and realize that if you think a little bit more about each one of those seeds, if you make sure it's a good seed, if you polish it, maybe soak that seed for a minute. Guess what happens if you soak a seed before you plant it in the ground? It grows a little bit of a root. Now when you point your camera and you know the seeds that you're trying to make, each seed that you create that way, each polished seed that you let soak a little bit, let germinate, and then you throw into that pit, that money pit of photography equipment, that now that has the ability to grow. But not really, because there's all this stuff that you have to do in order for that seed to grow. First, you have to have the right seed in the right ground at the right time. Then you need light. We all know about light. You need light on that ground. But that seed is still exposed to everything. You got to cover that seed with some stuff. That first layer of soil is the packaging. You got to package it. You also have to throw on some business sense. That's more soil that covers that hole. Next, some systems for making that seed grow. One of your systems, putting water on it. Another system, putting that seed in the right place. Digging the hole in the right place. Buying the right gear. Next, once you also got to tell people, hey, I'm trying to grow a seed here. Don't trample on it. Make sure you know there's a tree growing here. Tell everybody there's a tree growing right here. Even if you don't see anything yet, there's a tree. It's going to grow right here. I've planned it, meaning germinated that seed. I'm shooting the right pictures, meaning I'm germinating the right seeds. And I've put it in this one spot, which is choosing your niche. And then I'm paying attention to it. I'm watering it. I'm picking, and then you look, all of a sudden, you get a little bit of a sprout that starts to come through the ground. Guess what happens? People just, oh my God, it's growing. Okay, peace. I'm going to leave it. You come back, someone trampled on it. It's just a little seedling. It needs lots of care and lots of attention. And that's your photography business. You got to pat the ground around that little seedling. But guess what? Do that for years. I've done it for 34 years. Literally, now I'm a tree. I'm such a tree that a strong wind can't blow me over. That means my ideas generate not just money for me, but my ideas generate money for other people. That's what this whole thing that I'm doing here is I'm helping you learn how to plant, dig the right hole in the right place, plant to sit, but not before you plant. Find the right seed, polish it some more, germinate it, and put it in the right spot and give it lots of attention. That's the Carty method, basically. In the analogy of a plant and a seed. This week, we're doing photo reviews, as we do every Thursday. And every Thursday, I give you guys an impossible mission. This week's impossible mission, you can call it an assignment, but if it was just an assignment, more people would do them. But really, it's more of an impossible mission. The impossible mission I'm trying to do is help you make a living with your camera. How I'm doing it is by creating the 6-phase system to help you go from where you are right now in a job that you hate to a life of a working professional. I systemized it. It works, and I have lots of people who are benefiting from it. Part of that is peer review. I'm your peer. I'm looking at your photographs. It's not just me. I mean, I'm somebody who's, a few decades ahead of you, but there's also other amazing peers in my community. And the thing that's so great about this community is it's a great house for what I'm doing here with the Carty method. And I give an assignment. I give an assignment every week. You can go to the top here and see the assignments. And this week's assignment, this week's impossible mission, show that you have the technical wherewithal to show movement within a still image. This image is for your portfolio, so it needs to be within your niche. Use whatever technique you know to show movement within a still frame, vertical and cover worthy. My request always is 4,000 pixels wide by 100 DPI, and not to upload mobily. So that is my impossible mission for you, the emerging or struggling or underperforming photographer. I asked you to show movement in a photograph, and I am going to look at the photographs in the order that they were submitted. So I look at the first photo that was submitted first, and I look at the last photo that's been submitted last. Make sure you have a beverage, which I don't have, which I should. Make sure you have a beverage. And settle in, because this is one of those programs where you're going to learn something. Your brain might break, but that's okay. Your brain's allowed to break. The whole goal is always to help you get to the next level with your photography. Where's my music? I don't hear anything anymore. No more music. Let's see if I can get my beats back up. And that's the reason I started a second late today, is because I wasn't getting any audio through OBS. There we go. Okay, by the way, everybody who's tuned in live, if you've never seen me before, my name is Carty. I'm a professional photographer. I obsess over helping you, the emerging or struggling photographer, get to the next level with your career. Many of you are trying to make a living with your photography. If you're trying to make a living with your photography, this is the channel for you. I obsess over helping pros transition from that 9-to-5 life to the life of a working pro. All my content is just for you, if that's you. And these photo reviews are the instant feedback loop that you need to help you on track with the work that you're making. I had people looking at my work. I went to photography school from age 15. I'm a bit of a prodigy as far as my brother is a painter and an amazing artist, and I couldn't paint or do art. So I picked up the camera, the one that my dad brought home and didn't know how to use when I was 14. And it became my passion. And when I was 17, I saw Vogue. I went to a school that had photography from age 15. So I took photography as a class from age 15. I was processing and developing black and white from age 14, actually. And I went to the best school in the country as far as university. I went to Ryerson, it's now called Toronto Metropolitan University, for photography, way back in 1990. And that was when I was 20. I got my first studio when I was 21. I shot my first magazine picture when I was 20 years old, before I got my first studio. Shot my first cover when I was 23. Shot my first celebrity when I was 25. Shot Tom York from Radiohead when I was 27. Shot Pharrell Williams when I was 30. DMX when I was 30. And Fat Joe and like my career, it's really like kind of a whirlwind, and there's been ups and downs, but I'm telling you, the feedback that you can get from a peer, from a mentor, from a coach, like that's what's pulled me out of any time that I was down. It was always others and me leveraging my network that helped me get out of the shit. So I hope this program brings you value. Let's get into what we call this week's photo reviews, and they're real photo reviews. You realize, like, I don't hold any punches. I'm not trying to be liked. I'm just trying to be truthful. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to be honest, you know? And I'll give you actionable steps to make your photography better, I promise. By the way, if you're interested in submitting your photos for review, check to see if I have a spot. This is the link that you need to use. It's also in the video description. All right, let's get into our first photographer. This first photographer, his name is Ammon Thompson. It says, Jennifer in a book. It was fun learning about stroboscopic this week. After several attempts, here we go. Shot with the Fuji X-T5 with a 27, 1.2, ISO 125, a quarter of a second at f9. Stroboscopic strobe. My strobe does this as well. It's like, rather than it just firing once when you push a shutter, it fires multiple times. Pop, 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 pop. So I have Ellen Chrome strobes that do that. It seems like Ammon is also one of the ones who is lucky enough to have this camera or this strobe unit that does this. This is Ammon Thompson, everybody. Ammon, thanks for submitting. Ammon, your level of work has gone up considerably, my guy. Considerably. You can see it right away. Like right away. Let's have a look at this as a cover. Bro. Listen. Ammon, there's a method to my madness, and you've gotten so much better in the last short while. I mean, Ammon's in my professional accelerator. Let's check your focus, Ammon. Ammon, the focus is good, and you understand when you're doing this kind of a stroboscopic effect, like your subject actually has to be relatively still because you're shooting multiple pictures over the same picture. The faster you can do it, the better. It seems like you did a pretty good job with the focus. Her hair is tack sharp. There's just a touch of softness in the eyes, but it's more than acceptable. Absolutely. It still has me smiling. As far as you showing motion in a still frame, yes, man. Hells yeah. I would have used a smaller book, maybe, but just to be able to show more of the book. But the way that you pulled, let me just pull this cover away. The way that you pulled this into the corner is really strong. Like, I really like how you pulled the corner of the book into the corner. By the way, you have to know, I have my own pink. Everything has to be my own colors here. So yes, I like how you pulled this corner into there, like the corner of the book. This is great. And these pages, the strobes, like this, there's no other way to do this than having the right equipment. This is a great shot. The light placement is good. The book is acting as a reflector. This is a win for me, Ammon. You're going to get an 11 from me on this one. This is yes. And if you're not sure what an 11 is, it comes from heavy metal and amps. Yo, mate, don't turn it up to 10, turn it up to 11. It's like, you know, as loud as you can be is like, how about go louder than the loudest you can be? If 10 out of 10 is perfect, how about an 11 out of 10? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for 11s. You can analyze it any way that you want, but the goal is to make an unforgettable photo. A photo that I'm like, yes. And Ammon starts the show with just that. That's Ammon Thompson, everybody. Well played, Ammon. Well done. All right. So, Ammon Thompson. Let's get into our next photographer. What are you doing over here, Carty? Jeez Louise. I'm literally doing these live streams. I've been doing it for 3 whole years. 3.5, actually. 3.5 years ago, I had this idea. It was February. 3.5 years ago, I had this idea, like, what if I did live streams instead of recording and uploading? Because when I kept recording, I would keep making mistakes, and I'd stop and start again and stop and start again. It's just like, if you do it live, you don't get any stops or starts when you're talking to a person in real life. So I just pretended like I am actually talking to real people, and it just made it a lot easier. So I find videos always harder than going live. All right, this next shooter is Germaine Dean. It's called Capturing Life Passing You By. Shot with the Sony A7R Mark III. Shot with 7200 at 112 millimeter ISO 400. f6.3 at a quarter of a second using a softbox and a strobe light. This is the one they call Germaine Dean. Germaine, let's go, baby. Thanks for submitting. Germaine, this is a great shot. I mean, listen, you've stepped up, my guy, and keep in mind that my masthead picture and is competing a little bit, obviously, with the text T-tree or T-tree theater above. So I mean, apologize for the fact that the masthead is competing, but your crop, like the way that you cropped this picture, the way that it'll work as an 8x10, the way that it'll work as a magazine cover. Yes, you could have given her just a little bit more foot space, just a little bit more head space, so it can work as a 9x12 cover. But Germaine, you did really, really good here, man. Really good. And for me, like, listen, there's still some post-production work that I really want you to be working on, because you can see when I zoom in and I see her eyes, how everything that's happening here is just all super strange. And again, really in here is really weird. What's happening here with her eyeball is really weird. So what it's saying is, and also this, you have weird stuff that's happening because of what you're doing in post. What you're doing in post here is getting weird. So here's the deal. Now, and again, her skin looks very fake. It looks almost painted. So here's the vibe. Now that you're starting to get to that place where you're understanding the idea, you need to also be spending some time in post-production. I hate to be so blunt, but your post-production is atrocious. It's really bad, and you need to fix that, and it's easy to fix. Just watch Pix Imperfect. He is a great creator who makes Photoshop and Lightroom content. Pix Imperfect. I gotta spell. Imperfect. Pix Imperfect is one. The next one is Anthony Morganti. Anthony Morganti. He's another creator who's on Substack. He's also on YouTube. He does no-face videos just talking about Photoshop. You need to start watching and really locking in to what you could be doing in post to save your pictures, or what you should be doing in post to make your pictures industry standard. You have all the elements here to make it for a portfolio picture. Germaine, this would have been your first photo of the week. It would have been your first photo of the week if, when I zoomed in on this picture, I didn't get so frustrated. Come on, it's just post-production. It's like you gotta learn it, and you're not quite there yet. Germaine, great idea, great execution. You killed it on the back end. So make sure you get better at Photoshop, because Photoshop, Lightroom, and managing your files, because if not, you're making work now that's up here, but you're taking it back down here with what you're doing to your files. So make sure that that's not the case, okay? That is Germaine Dean, everybody. Thanks for submitting, Germaine. So close to an 11, my guy. So close. So close. And the post-production sadly takes it from an 11 to a 9. We can't be shooting 9s. This is Juan Herrera. I tried experimenting with the panning shutter technique, messing with different shutter speeds. Shot with the EOS R 24 to 105. Shot at 105 with a 5.6 and a shutter speed of a 20th of a second. at ISO 640. This is Juan Herrera. Juan is in my Pro Accelerator group. Juan Herrera, everybody. Juan is beginning to arrive here. Let's go, Juan. Look at you, buddy. All of a sudden, you're starting to get it. You're starting to get it. The drag to shutter technique, dope. The model, great. The light, great. It's not pretentious. It's just enough. It's just enough. Like for me, this is a yes. This is a yes all the way, and you get an 11. Juan, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, honestly. Like you're getting it, my guy. You're getting it. And again, it's like you came into my Pro Accelerator back when I allowed people to join halfway. And now I don't let people join halfway. So I can actually help you from day one. And I'm so happy that you're here. You're part of the Carty method. And oh my goodness, are you not already showing that you're here to make a mark? Well done. And you have a photographer's name. You got a photographer's name. Like Juan Herrera? That's totally a photographer's name. You could just go by Herrera. I love it, my guy. Well done. Very well done. And oh, by the way, if I didn't say, that's an 11, eh? If I didn't give you, it's an 11. Just FYI. Well played. Well played. This is Juan Herrera, everybody. Good job. Good job, Juan Herrera. All right. Who we got? Who we got? I'm in a mood. Garan Wrath. I love this kind of work. I had some challenges, but hopefully overcame them. The track was made of mirrors and light painting. I did not know the Olympic track was purple. The cans were a combination of shutter drag and stroboscopic flash. The cans and background were shot separately and comped together. Shot at ISO 100, at f16, at 5 seconds. This is Garan Wrath showing motion within a still frame. Garan Wrath, everybody. Garan. Okay, this guy all of a sudden is here to not mess around. All of a sudden, you're not messing around, Garan. I mean, other than the fact that you need to give your work just a little bit more space, just give your edges a little bit more space in here. There's a little bit of bleeding, but I know that that's, like, there is a little bit of bleeding that you have happening in here. Here on the edges, there's a little bit of double lines that you have happening, which again is just all post-production. The idea, though, is pretty amazing. I mean, the fact that you have all these cans like swirling and all this stuff, like you really do get the sense of motion. The fact that you have the center can in the middle, I'm just wishing that these edges weren't so close. I'm wishing that this wasn't going outside of the frame. But looking at this as a cover, like, it's pretty spot on, Garan. Like, really, really, for an ad, like, this is excellent photography. This is a really excellent idea. And I'm going to say it's pretty excellent. It's pretty excellent execution, my guy. Like, this is, I'm going to quote Nina, brilliant. This is brilliant. Like, really, really, really strong. When you zoom in and look at the cans, the focus is really sharp, although you do have some hot spots. So I want you to be very wary of how you're lighting these cans. Because you're doing top light, I can see where the hard shadow is, but this is how you're going to do it. If this is your set, this is your table, right? And these are your cans, like arranged like this on your table, right? What you need to do is you need a huge source and like a huge bank pushing down light that's going to give you an even, so you can have the highlight along the whole side of the can, like you do kind of a little bit here and a little bit here and a little bit here. But if we diffuse it a little bit more, how we can do it is is just put a flat up here. like, let me see how I'll draw this in 3 dimensions. Just put a flat up here. Just a piece of foam core that you just fold like this. And then your light, you can have your light down here with a blocker. Maybe your light over here with a blocker, so no bleed hits here. A little bit of a blocker. And then you can aim your light up here and just angle this so it's kicking back down. Like, really, you're really gonna have to kick light like up so it comes back down. But that's one way to do it, is just low light down here with a bit of a grid or a spot that kicks. But overall, Garan, this is a yes, man. This is so good. This is so good. I'm spending too much time to tell you this is an 11, my guy. This is very good. Congratulations. It's a great shot. So good. It's Garan Wrath, everybody. Garan. Yeah, it's good. It's like, I like when the work is high quality, you know? I mean, who wouldn't? I like when the work's high quality. I like when the ideas are well thought out, and I like when people take it seriously. You know, when all those factors are a yes, then it usually equals a photo of the week. It usually equals best in show, and it usually equals a portfolio photo for you that ends up being something that you can show over and over and over and over again. Okay, my brother says movement is an overstatement. This is my brother Lesley. It's been nonstop for the past few weeks. Shot with my S22, which is his phone, ISO 320 at f1.81. This is a Chrysler 300 in for full paint and body restoration. My brother paints cars. He uses photography in order to help him promote his business. Let's have a look at what Big Brother Les is doing. Thanks for submitting, Big Brother. This is a tricky thing because this picture I don't think that we're getting enough information. First of all, you're shot with your phone. It becomes really hard to control shutter speed and all of these things with your phone. The focus is more on the blur here. I mean, more on the water here and not on the paint. We're also not seeing enough of the car. Like, this particular door handle is not the most interesting part of the car. The most interesting part of the car, wheel well, back here, the rear tail lights. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different angles on the car that have more interest. The hood, the headlights, you know, like the grill. There's so many different places that you could have sprayed in order to make this work. For me, I feel like it doesn't work because it's not interesting, and we can't see that it's a Chrysler 300. We can't really see what kind of car it is. It's just an indiscriminate car, and also we can't see the paint work that you do, which is so great. So, like, when you're in this kind of a situation and you don't have your camera, just don't submit. You know what I mean? Like, if you're making this stuff for yourself, I get it, but this is for you, big bro. You're doing this work in order to help promote your business. You're not giving us enough information, and you're not showing us enough of a hero detail on the car to make this shot interesting. And you're not, like, yes, are you showing movement? Not really, like, kinda, but, you know, it's just, I feel like any other part of the car, show water, use slow shutter speed with your other camera, with a tripod to show water dripping off. Like, use motion to show your mirror finish. Like, these kinds of ideas, they really need ideation. Like, you really have to think hard about what this photograph is. It doesn't work to just try to make something work for the assignment. This is close, my guy, but I don't think that you can use it for your pick. I don't think you can use it for your portfolio. So it's like, meaning your portfolio to sell your work to more customers. So that's, I don't know, that's my 2 cents in a bag of chips. Big bro, I hate when I have to give bad reviews to my own family, but truth sometimes is hard. All right, guys. So everybody who's here watching me live, thank you. I'm glad you're here participating. Let me, there's a possibility that I mean, I am, by the way, working with some people over at Item who handle my stream control. I mean, they don't handle my stream control, but they make this app that gives you control over my goodies. And I was working with them a bit today in between coaching. And so I might request that you do a test in a minute. And if it doesn't work, it's okay, but I might ask you to do a test. All right. That's Big Brother Les. Let's see who's next. Next is Kyle Gagne. Kyle says, I'm on vacation in the middle of nowhere. I was determined to make a photo with the limited equipment I had. Using the drone on this one to capture. I'm using the drone on this one to capture my nephew kayaking. The kayak being his product. The reflection of the moody clouds on the calm water almost looks like a painting. The trail of previous paddles disturbing the calm water represents the motion. Shot with the DJI Mini 3 Pro with a 24 millimeter 1/500th of a second at 1.7 at ISO 100. This is the one they call Kyle G. Kyle, thank you for submitting. Well, look at that. Look who just got control back. All right, guys, please don't abuse it. All right, Kyle, this is really strong as an idea, man. This is a beautiful photo. Really, really beautiful, like, showstopper photo. Like, it's unbelievable. Honestly, so good. Kyle, I'm so proud of you, man. This is absolutely yes. First of all, managing to... Yes, this is what I'm saying. Don't overload me. It like, don't overload me. I know you guys haven't had this for a while, but go easy. Kyle, this works in so many ways. It works for motion. It works as a portfolio picture. It works... it's a showstopper. It's a scroll stopper. It works as a unique perspective. This is so good, Kyle. I'm very proud of you. This is fantastic. Fantastic. This is 100% an 11. 100%. Yay! Guys, you guys are doing so well today. The work is banging. Guys are doing so well today. Let's go. All right. Mike Howell says 67 shots to capture the one public service announcement. All right. This is the one they call Mike Howell. Mikey, thanks for submitting. Mike, you're definitely showing motion here, my guy. Let's look at this as a cover. It's definitely formatted as a cover. I mean, this is the only thing that I notice is that I see this car behind this sign that I really wish wasn't there. And I wish this was more predominant. My vibe would be to move closer. If you move closer, you can bring this and make this bigger in the frame. And if you juxtapose yourself the right way, you can actually hide this car behind this sign. And then you can have this train going like it's going directly into the tracks. And you're also able to cut that out and possibly a little bit of that out. For me, the picture exists. Let me show you. The picture exists. This tool. The picture cuts here. The picture cuts here. Picture cuts here. And the picture cuts here. And then you just go a little bit tighter. You know what I mean? And now, once you're a little bit tighter, you crop out you don't see that car because you can hide it behind the sign. And now, like, it looks more like a photograph and not like a snapshot. And again, Mike's an amazing part of this community. Mike has said, like, to me, the photographers that you have watching you, Carty, are at such a level, you know? And he's like, I'm not gonna compete with them. You know, he's 60, he's in his 60s. But he just likes the game, you know? He loves the game, and he loves practicing and like exercising his brain and trying to do these assignments. Like it's good for you. It's good for your brain. And also he's able to use photography like with his businesses, which is great. And I love having Mike as a part of this community. It's so important to have people of all generations, because I have people that I'm coaching from age 21 to age 65. So it's pretty great. Mike's a great add to this community. Mike, this is, for me, do you execute the assignment? Yes. Is it an interesting picture? Yes. Just a couple of small things that you could have done in order to like take this to the next level. But the more reps that you do, the quicker you see solutions to problems. And sadly, the more that you look at your photos after the fact, the more that you're like, oh, could have did this, could have did this, could have did this, you know, which happens to all of us. So don't beat yourself up on that. But for me, this is still a win. You should be super happy. All right. That is the one they call Mike Howell. By the way, if you're enjoying this content, here's some news. I am now on Apple Podcasts. I am now on Spotify. I am now delivering my podcast on Substack. There's all kinds of different ways now that you can listen to me. And if you like my voice and sometimes find yourself listening to me on YouTube and not watching me because you have YouTube Premium, or you have your phone in your pocket unlocked, or you have me playing in the other room on the TV as you're walking around doing stuff. If that's you, if that's the kind of thing that you do, please subscribe to the Carty Method podcast on Apple Music or Spotify, whichever is your preferred platform, and subscribe and listen. And then after you've listened to something there, leave me a review. I'm going to be putting up content twice per week, at least Tuesday, Sunday. And yeah, it would be super helpful if I saw you there. Thank you. I got a couple of news here. First of all, news. Ammon says he's been a member for 6 months. Hey, Ammon, let's go, baby. 6 months. And I'm learning from you every week, and I keep your teachings in my head every day. Thank you, Carty. Ammon, thank you, my guy. You're such an amazing add to this community. So thank you for being here. You help me do stuff on the back end. So thank you. You're in the middle of like really helping me, you know, which is beautiful. And the team, and you guys know who you are, the Carty Cartel, you guys really help the system run beautifully. So I'm happy to give you back commands to run my show here. But now that they work, I can make some new ones. I'm pretty excited about that. All right. And Ammon also gifted a membership. So Ammon, thank you for gifting. Here is your smoke for being such a generous man. Thank you. Ammon Thompson, everybody. All right. So we are going on to Sebastian Kaaka. This picture is from the International Kite Festival in the city where we live. Street photography is my second niche after portraits. Maybe it's not the most profitable, but it's very satisfying for me. Sony A7 Mark IV, shot with a 35mm f1.2. ISO 100, 35mm f4, 1/200th of a second. This is Sebastian Kaaka. Let's go, Sebastian. Thanks for submitting. As far as a shot that shows motion, for sure. I would have loved you to step back just a bit because this Nike logo is super important. Oops. This Nike logo is super important because that brands what we're doing here. The fact that this is a crazy kite with like soccer feet is amazing. This is super, super sharp. And I do know that you're offsetting him in order to show some of the stuff that's happening in person behind him, which I get. But I also want you to really work on this rotation. Like you're going from this angle, you're rotating here, you're shooting this way, you're going this way, you're shooting this way. And the more you do that, you realize, oh, this is a brand, and brands pay money. So if I shoot a great shot of this guy wearing this Nike backpack, maybe Nike will repost it, you know? So I need you to think always how you can commercialize any of the photography that you're doing when you find yourself in a situation where you're taking pictures instead of making pictures. We're always trying to make pictures. We're always trying to ask ourselves, who would hire us to make this? Who would hire me to make this photo? And because this is a situation where you're taking photos of something that you see, you have to take your taking photos and curb it into lifestyle. Like, how can you shift this moment and turn it into a lifestyle moment where you can sell it to a brand, a company, or for stock? That's what you're always thinking about. You have to shift the whole concept. You have to shift the whole concept of street photography. You have to shift that and shift that into the concept of lifestyle photography. Do that and you'll make money. Sebastian, this is a great effort, and it definitely shows movement, although you could have played into that movement a little bit more by slowing down your shutter speed a little. It does seem quite frozen, although I know obviously the kites are moving all around. The whole idea was to show movement within a still frame, and I'm not really thinking that you're showing movement here, because you're not using any tricks that would actually do that by slowing down your shutter speed. It's close for me. Sebastian, is definitely a picture that you could use for your portfolio, but it doesn't quite qualify quite as much as the assignment brief, which is show a picture that shows motion in a still frame. All right. This is Dana McKenzie, last minute entry, but here's my submission. Nikon D810 50mm, 1/5 of a second. Shot at f10 at ISO 64. Thanks to Candice for the impromptu evening shoot. This is Dana McKenzie, everybody. Dana. Let's have a look at this. Let's look at this as a cover. As a cover, this is a yes. It definitely is great. Like, I like how you dropped her low in the horizon. Like, it's really strong as far as the fact that you pushed her down in the horizon line. Let's hide the masthead. As far as where you dropped her, let's look at where you dropped the masthead in general. I mean, the horizon line in general. If you look at where the horizon line is, it looks very much like it's dead center. And then where her head is actually competing with what's behind her. Like these, oops, do this, these rocks, and this is kind of like going, so how we have to do that is we have to either raise ourselves so the rock line goes higher, which is kind of what I would do, because then we're going to see more of her body through the water, and we're also going to see more of the water rushing. And then yes, we do see the water rushing, but if you aim down on her just a little bit more and shift the perspective, now the light that's happening on her face, because it's an overcast day or it's late in the day, the sun is coming this way, like top, or the sun is back here and kind of gone, which I kind of think it's more like end of day sun, like the sun is kind of gone. So now we don't have that light on her face. And because we don't have that light on her face, now we're picking up like heavy shadows here and heavy shadows here. She's a great model, great skin, great vibe, great outfit, great idea. I feel like if you had have had her with her head up, you can just see the difference how, like when I'm like this, how, you know, bags here under the eye, especially if I go like this, because now the light is coming more from the top. So you see this, right? But if I lean back, go like this, then the light kisses me, right? So especially when you're in the end of the day, you got to let the light, like, and the light is coming from up there somewhere, especially when you're shooting outside. So my suggestion with this is head back a little bit so the light kisses her, and then you aim down so you're not photographing up her chin or up her nose, And then now she can look at you because you're on top of her. And then in fact, you could have cut all these trees out altogether. You could have cut these trees out altogether just by aiming down at her. And then now only the rocks and the water are the background, and it becomes a top-down shot, you know? And then you can shoot a vertical because you can frame her body and have her doing like a nice S thing that she's doing right here, like this with her body. But you just stretch the S out a little bit longer, you know? And you do the same thing. And then you do the same shutter speed. And it's a win. Again, this still for me is a win. Still a win. Still a win. It's just the small things with the light, the small things with this here, where I can see like the white trees, the white through the trees. For me, it's like cut that all out altogether. Watch. As soon as I do, zoom this in, as soon as I do this, and now zoom in here, where you're now not seeing that tree line, now you're way more focused on just the model, right? But if I zoom in more and take that tree line out altogether, now you're really focused on the motion. You see what I'm saying? So if the fact that you included this at all is a totally other this is a totally other photo, and this completely is irrelevant to the photo when I break it down to you this way. When I break it down to you this way, you can see that this is actually two photos in one. It's one photo that you're making up here of the trees, and then it's this other photo down here, which you want people to pay attention to. But now that I'm talking about the rock line and how that rock line is competing with her headline, now you're seeing everything I'm saying. I hope this brings you value. That is Dana, everybody. Dana McKenzie. Thanks for submitting, my guy. Yeah, I don't ask me how I do this other than 33 years of professional experience. 33 years. I'm a seer. I just see stuff. This is Marvin Miller. So Marvin says speaker blown 1/60th of a second, f3.2, 200th of a sec, ISO 200, 50 millimeter lens, shot with strobe, with an R5. This is called speaker blown. This is Marvin Miller. Marvin. This is definitely a funny photo. Like, it definitely has a vibe. I'm not sure how how you're getting this motion, whether she's like flipping her head back, which is kind of what I'm imagining is happening. But there's something about the color balance, Marvin. Marvin, look at my skin. Marvin, look at my skin. Okay? Look at my skin. For reals. Look at my skin. And look at this girl's skin. Look how green she is. Is she sick? Look at how green she is. It's color balance. Look at how lovely chocolatey brown my skin actually looks. Look at her skin. Do you see how she looks sickly? It's because you didn't light this, or I want to say you didn't like this photo because you said you used a strobe light, but you definitely didn't white balance this photo. Let me just assume that this is a baseboard, right? Let me just assume that this is a baseboard, right? This right here. That's the white in your photo. And then let's look at white. Look at the difference between that and that white, right? And if you can imagine, I imagine that this speaker box is black, but look how green it is compared to my black hat. Look at how green it is compared to my black t-shirt. That's color balance. So when you're showing green skin, and I'm also imagining that this wall is probably a gray wall based on the tone and based on how the color of that. So like if this picture was color balanced, this is a whole other photo. So you can't spend all the time making an idea, and then when you execute the idea, and then when you get to post, you just literally mail in post-production or do something which you've seen a couple of times today, where people spend time on the idea, but then not the time on the polish. And the polish is super important. So Marvin says, playing with gels. Here's the thing. Don't do that. Don't play with gels. You know why? Because you haven't figured out light without gels yet. Okay, you want to be a doctor. Okay, so let's jump into brain surgery. You know what's going to happen? You're going to kill somebody. You don't know gels yet. You don't know white. You don't even know color balance light. You don't there's so many different things that you need to figure out. And there's many of them are fundamentals. Fundamentals of natural light, fundamentals of idea, just executing an idea. You bring in light when that's the only way that you can execute that idea. So this picture, you're not actually showing movement, you're freezing motion, right? If you're using a strobe and she's flipping her head back. So it's not showing motion, she just looks surprised. And the speaker blown idea is not, it's not conveyed because she's not projecting to the speaker, she's projecting to the camera. So if her hair was like blown back by the speaker, it would be blown sideways because she's looking this way and the speaker is beside her. So Steven, 8 months of membership. Let's go, baby. Sorry, I'm mid-flow here. Give me a second and I'll talk to you. So Marvin, the vibe is like, if you're going to execute an idea, people like me are going to look at the idea that you're executing and they're going to pick it apart. Like, does it make sense? If the speaker's from the side, the hair would be going from the side. Or rotate her, have her turning a knob, having her reaching for a knob, and then having her hair blow back. That makes more sense than having her hands just here, like as if she's sitting and allowing the speaker to blow her hair like this. So the idea is not formulated. It's like, it's close, but it's not formulated. And then seeing this baseboard as it is and shooting this on like a blue bed sheet with these colors, this color, they don't match. Like it's quite clashy, and it's even more clashy when you put a gel on it. And here's a secret. Don't use a green gel ever when you're shooting skin. Don't do that. It makes people look dead. Don't use blue gel when you're shooting skin, especially white people. Black people looks better, but like until you understand light, you can't be jumping into using gels. Like you really can't. And also this light, it's placed the exact same position as the camera. And how I can tell is from the shadows in the back, and how like literally how if this is 12 o'clock, like if straight up is 12 o'clock, I can see the light is placed at 11. So it's very, very close, and it's not skied. I can see by how right on the center axis it is. It's not like the highlight would be way closer to up here if it would be skied where it needs to be. Like the light would be, the highlight would be up here. So this then pushes the shadow here. Because your strobe is so bright and there's no ambient light in the room, then the shadows get really dark and the wall shadows get really dark. So it just, for me, it ends up being a mess, you know? And it's because you're trying to do something that's too complicated before you've caught up with the knowledge to do it. So here's a secret. Execute simple pictures and do them really, really, really well. And as you get better at executing simple pictures, you can add your twist. And that twist can be the motion, that twist can be the speaker idea. But when you're bringing in that twist, it has to make sense. You know what I mean? I think this one missed. It missed on using the gel. It missed because that threw the color balance. It missed on the speaker placement. It missed on the blue blanket. It missed on what she's wearing. It missed on a whole bunch of different things, my guy. So yeah, my suggestion is if shooting people is your niche, get into shooting people way simpler. Don't try to make complicated ideas, have non-distracting backgrounds, less elements in your photos. These are all things that you can do in order to make your stuff really, really, really sing. All right, that was Marvin Miller. Marvin, thanks for submitting, my guy. All right, now we have one of my members has re-upped and has been here for 8 months. He says that he's upset that he couldn't submit this week, but hoping that he can submit next week. Listen, Stevie, There's always photos to look at. You know what I mean? And I know you want yours to be one of them. You can't become Photo of the Week winner without having your photos submitted. You can't win without photos in here for me to look at. So, you know, and also we've started Behind the Picture magazine. Behind the Picture magazine is now the marketplace. So if you've won a Photo of the Week, the thing that's amazing is now your photos will appear. Your photos will literally appear in a digest that we send out the day after the episode. So if you won Photo of the Week today, or if you win Photo of the Week today, then that means tomorrow people are going to see your photos. And I have a newsletter of over, with this particular newsletter, I think I have almost 400 people on this. So you go to thecartymethod.substack.com and you can see we have one post, but this is Behind the Picture magazine. And this is showing you photos of the week from a while ago. There is Ammon's Photo of the Week, calligraphy, and the story behind the photo, social media links, Mike Morrison, story behind the photo, social links. So this is the beginning of the showcase for people who win Photo of the Week. This is where the stuff shows up. So it's free. If you want to see Behind the Picture magazine, just go to the video description. You'll see a link for Behind the Picture magazine. Subscribe. We'll send it out. And we might even be sending out not just Photo of the Week content, but other helpful, informative content that'll help you on your journey to becoming a pro. And guess what else? It's run by the viewers of this channel. It's run by two people in my accelerator who have taken the initiative to start this Substack. They're two of the best writers in the crew, and I'm allowing them to go crazy with Behind the Picture magazine. So please subscribe. The link is in the video description. Whew. It's hard to get through all that, you know? Hard. All right. All right. Let's see where we're at. Next shooter is Joshua Haney. Joshua says, flying high. Ultimate Frisbee has been a huge part of our family's life this year. Shot with the R6 with an 85 millimeter. F4 at a 2/50th of a second with strobe. The idea is to show motion within a still frame. This is Joshua Haney. Joshua, you're leveling up so much, my guy. You really, really are. Like, look at the eye contact. I mean, yes, we missed the focus a touch, but it's so on the money on so many different things. You can see where we're actually nailing the focus. We're hitting focus here in her body, but we're missing focus where we need it, which is in the eye contact. When you're shooting motion, I like to pre-focus before I shoot, and I like to shoot hundreds of frames. And if somebody's jumping, I don't focus, like, because this is where her face was when you focused, and then she jumped, and now she's out of focus. So what I do is I will literally track up with her, try to lock the focus, come back down. Track up with her, try to lock the focus, come back down. And I'll just keep shooting. You have eye tracking, which means you should have been able to catch this, but at the same time, you have eye tracking, which means it's incredibly hard to catch this. Is this a win for me? Yes, this is absolutely. Does this fulfill the assignment? 100%. Is this a photographer that's showing motion? Not only is he capturing motion, but he's showing motion, meaning there's no way for that girl to be up there and just frozen. Like, she had to have got up there. So it's showing decisive moment, the fact that she's jumping and catching the Frisbee, the way her hair is moving, and the fact that Joshua used artificial light outside in order to capture this picture. This is all a win for me. This is absolutely an 11. This is excellent. Joshua, very proud of you. Very, very, very good. This is Joshua Haney. Everybody. By the way, if you guys like my smiling face, you can choose to subscribe. It's free, you know? Why not? Subscribe. Give me some love. I mean, subscribing really doesn't make a difference. Like, you can, but if you don't, it's okay. You could just watch my content, you know? Because my stuff, if you watch it, it'll come up in your feed, whether you're subscribed or not, as soon as you watch a single video. So, you know, if I'm in your feed and You're enjoying my content? Amazing. All right. For some reason, my music just cut out, but that's okay. That's okay. Let's hide that. Oh, shit, that was on. Okay. Yeah, I'm really not sure why the music stopped. All right. Let's see who's next. That was Joshua. Okay, we're going to quit Epidemic. Try this one more time. By the way, if you guys have any questions specifically about what I'm doing right here, my Pro Accelerator starts on Sunday. I have literally probably 18 or so spots left. I'm trying to get 60 in there. This is Liza Hyder. Liza said, this is Phi with SMG Models in Seattle. She emigrated from the US from Thailand. I've always been drawn to her. It's always been her dream to be a model. She agreed to test with me for this assignment, and I was a total pro. And she was a total pro. When I told Phi I'd like to photograph her in my pool, she sent me several images of bathing suits. They were okay, but I wanted to do something different. I went through her Instagram to see what she had in her wardrobe. I noticed she was wearing a burnt orange dress and pictured how beautiful the dress would move in the water. I asked Phi if she'd be willing to wear her orange dress in the pool. She said yes. Nikon D850, 35mm, 1/250th of a second at f8 at ISO 400. This is Liza Hyder. So let me click this first. Let me open this second. Liza Hyder. Liza, your work is getting so much better. So much better. Like the 35mm is really giving you, it's bending the frame just a little bit. Obviously you're getting some weird proportion as far as her shoulder proportions to her hips, to how big her legs are, because you're shooting wide and here's her in the pool and you're aiming down at her at that angle, which means what's up here is going to be bigger. And as it goes down here, it's going to appear smaller in the frame. The light that you have on her face is excellent. The focus is excellent. I just want you to really watch your lens selection. For me, I would have shot this with a 50. And then, yeah, just body perspective wise, it's hard because her hands are going out of the frame, and cropping someone at the wrist like that is very jarring. I would have loved to have you like bend her arms so she was like this up here, because I know she's holding on to the side, but if she could somehow like cross her arms to give like some sort of a bridge or some sort of a border up here, it would like close that loop, and then she could hold with her hands crossed, and her hands being cut off would bother me less. There's a big bubble right between her boobies, which again, I'm hoping that you have some that don't have that, because that's in a hard spot to retouch. But I really love how her body looks when it's going through the water. I think this is a really, really strong idea. Look at that as a beauty shot. Like, honestly, look at that as a close-up. I'm wondering if you shot any close-ups with a 50 or an 85, because I think that this would be super, super strong to see. Like, this is a win for me, though. Liza is in my professional accelerators group. You can see the photographers that are in my accelerator, just how, like, their work is just, like, it's a little bit higher. And again, that comes from hard work. If you see the progression from these shooters, like, just over the last 3 or 4 months, Liza's been watching me on YouTube for a year. Took her a long time before she started submitting, and then now she's at the point where she's in my accelerator, like she's fully immersed in my programs and starting to create some real transformations. This is Liza Hyder, everybody. This is an 11 for me, Liza. I'm giving you an 11. I really want you to watch the body proportions shooting with a wide angle, especially looking down like this. Just watch that, but this was a winner. All right, that's Liza Hyder. All right. This is Gary Rishi. Gary, A7 III, 85 millimeter, 1/25th of a sec, or a 25th of a second, 3.2 ISO 100. I've used this technique of panning with the flow of water before to create a brushstroke effect. Might be a little bit abstract and certainly out of niche, but sometimes I try to create wall art. I'd probably market this as one of 3 frames of a triptych printed on metal. This is Gary Rishi. Gary, thanks for submitting. I mean, does it show the motion of water? For sure. It definitely does. There's definitely a lot of movement in this photo. There's so many different ways that we can handle and analyzing this photo. We can call it fine art, we can call it, but for me, as an editorial portrait photographer, which is what I believe that you are, somebody who shoots people for magazines, or that's exactly what I'm trying to develop you into, this definitely it needs something. You remember, you just saw what Liza did with water and how she showed movement. This is screaming, it needs a subject. It needs something, a context, a something. Just for the level of photography that we're trying to do, shooting just this is nothing picture. And again, yes, you can frame it and call it art. I got that. But the way that Kyle used water, the way that Liza used water, it's not just serving the purpose of showing motion, it's also commerce. And again, I started this episode talking about every photo is a seed, and it's you can talk to the seed and say, you're an apple seed, even if it's a crab apple tree seed, you're going to be the biggest apples. You can tell it that. But if that's not the seed that you have, it's not the seed that it can be. So we have the ability to choose what seeds, and you chose, for me, this is not a seed that's going to move or propel your work forward or even stop somebody from scrolling, because this is something I've seen before. We've all seen water rushing before. It's not interesting, Gary, and you're in my accelerator. I have higher expectations of you, my guy. It has to be better. For me, it has to be better as far as look at the swirls and look at how cool it looks. It's who cares? Who cares? What company is hiring you to do this? What company? There's no company that's hiring you to take pictures of swirls of water. So because of that, this, Gary, is a no. It's a no. And again, it's okay if you miss the brief, if you can't submit, if you can't get the wherewithal to do an assignment, just don't submit. But don't mail in something and think that I'm going to praise you for shooting water, with no context, with no meaning, with no any, and just have me interpret it oh yes, I can see how some rich fine art collector is going to buy this. It's no, Gary, they're not. This is just going to live in your library until you shoot something better. Seriously, don't trick yourself and think that you're going to trick me. This is a no, Gary. You got to try way harder, my guy. Way harder. Don't go backwards, eh? Don't go backwards. Go forward. This is do nothing and you stay in the same spot. Do something that is mailing it in. Now you're moving backwards. Don't do that. Don't do that with me. Don't do that with yourself. All right, that's Gary Rishi, everybody. All right, Gary. You got to swing bigger fences next time, man. Seriously. This is Nick Johnson. Nick says, I had the opportunity to shoot this week for a designer that makes clothing for an EDM festival and raves. One of the pieces had long fringes attached to the arms, so I took the opportunity to both freeze and show the clothing in motion using shutter drag. EOS R 24-70 at 2.8, f5, ISO 100. I asked the model to raise her arms and uncross them during the shoot. Beauty dish 2 strip boxes froze the action while I left the shutter open for 4/10 of a second to allow the fringe to print from the ambient light from the modeling lamps. This is Nick Johnson. Nick is in my one-on-one coaching program. Nick gets time with me every month. Nick, this is definitely a level up. Like, and I mean, the fact that you froze this, you managed to freeze action as well as you did. Let's look at this as a cover. And I mean, I'm not sure if you're choosing pink because it's like my brand color, and you knew you shooting pink was going to look so good with this masthead. Is this what you're doing, Nick? Like, this is a win for me. This is a win. And I'm going to tell you why. It's a win because technically it's sharp as anything. And the idea, he was hired to execute this dress. And not only did he execute this dress, but he shot it on a model that has the body to be able to wear this. We're definitely seeing a little bit of motion. I mean, I'm feeling, hey, Eric, thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. This is a yes for me. This is a yes. Again, I like the sparkles. The exposure on her skin, Nick, is really perfect. Like, if people are wondering what normal or perfect exposure is, this is it. I like how you have just a hint of blue coming in on this side, which is nice. You got some light coming in on this side. This just works. Excuse me. This is a working one, Nick. This is good. This is good. This makes me happy. Guess what? You are an 11 on this one. Very clever. I mean, who I'm going to develop you into as a photographer, Nick, is like so far from where you are right now, but you're on the journey with me. I'm so excited for our future together. It's great. Ooh, that is Nick Johnson, everybody. All right. Who be next? Who be next? Who be next? Let's see. This is Samuel Saling. Samuel Saling? I think it's Saling. 50 millimeter 1.4 at f4 ISO 3200 ISO. Little high in the ISO, Sam. Shot overcast light through the window. Working hard in my office. I'm guessing this is a self-portrait. So the smoke is the motion, blah, 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 blah. And he knows about the line growing out of his head. This is Samuel Saling. Samuel, thanks for submitting. I'm glad you're here. Let's have a look at this. Let's look at this as a cover. As a cover, it works. It's very editorial. I like the editorial angle here. Like it actually, this is applied photography. Like I see it. The angle is really nice. The shadow growing out of your head doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. What does bother me a little bit is the edging here. How I can see that there's something there, like a window frame or something that's causing some shadowing on that edge, and you can see how clean it is on this side. So that bothers me more, but you have to give yourself some space with the elbow. So I understand why you did that, because you have the same space with your other elbow on this side. As far as your focus, is tack on, and there's no feeling at all that you're shooting 3200 because it's exposed properly. And again, I'll show you when you expose properly. I'll say again, using Samuel as an example, when you expose properly, there is no grain, irregardless as to what ISO you're shooting at. This is at 3200 ISO, and because it's exposed properly, he's exposing all the different sizes of sensitivity of grain, and he's getting down to the least sensitive amount of grain, which is the smallest grain. Sam. By the way, Kings, the my content team, the clip command works, so go crazy. This is very, very on the button for me. The smoke, I mean, the only thing is that for me, The smoke isn't enough to show movement. Vicky, sorry, I gotta give Vicky some love because Vicky's been a member for a year. Opened my memberships a year ago on this channel. This is my 1 year anniversary of monetizing this channel. And Vicky has been here for 12 months. Vicky worked for me. Like, she's gone from she was my first one through my coaching program. Like, it's just really sick that she's here and thriving in her business. It's amazing. And James Lewis, welcome, my guy. James, smoke. Welcome. Thanks for becoming a member. You got gifted, I do believe. All right. So, Sam, this, again, editorial portrait, yes. Even as a self-portrait, it's an editorial portrait. A picture that you can use for your business, yes. Applied photography, 100%. Does it really show motion? Like, it's not enough. Like, your hand, all you need to do is just do this with your hand and shoot at a slow shutter speed. So it seems like your hand is moving on the table, and now that's a bit of the blur, and you can do that without moving your body, so it's not going to affect. Like, you need that, like, to make it look like you're doing something, or you're doing something super fast, like exaggerate it. We need a little twist to this picture. Like last week's assignment was your work with a twist. We needed a twist with this one. This one, for me, is just a little too straight. Although, bro, you would have won all the accolades for an editorial portrait assignment or a self-portrait assignment. Seriously, keep it up. But I need to see more of you executing ideas from this side of the camera, from the other side, and not also trying to be a subject because you don't have anyone to shoot. Work harder to find someone to shoot. James Lewis with the gifted. Thank you, James. It's very nice of you. Appreciate you gifting a sub. Luciano, you got gifted. Luciano gifted a membership. Thank you, James. That's really nice of you. I appreciate you. All right. Here we go into Kim Palumbo. My motion entry is what Kim is saying. Kim, let's look at your motion entry. Motion entry from Kim Palumbo. Let's go, Kim. Kim, also in my Professional Photographers Accelerator program. Kim, let's look at this as a cover. Like, this has a vibe. It has a vibe for sure. It definitely has a vibe. I mean, how you're lighting her based on, like, you lit her and then she moved. You can see because of the way her head angle is going, it's creating like some weird shadows, and like this little shadow that's happening in here from her cheek. And it's because of the angle of her head. But did you knock this out of the park as far as motion? Yes. Look at her body, like the fingers, like she's modeling all the way to her toes, which is fantastic. For me, my vibe would be, could you get a profile of her? So so the light actually hits her nicer, or can you have her hair forward? So you're basically hiding a little bit of the identity. So you're seeing more of the movement. For me, I bet you have other edits that are even better than this one. But oh my God, technically, your technical is a 10 out of 10. Like, honestly, I'm going to give you such props for exposure, focus, all of those technical aspects of the photo. The ground, I want you to really be watching your horizon line, because you're hitting her at a little bit of an angle. You're not hitting her straight. What I would do in post is just straighten this and cheat this ground so it's more straight, and it's not really going to affect the rest of the photo, but it'll trick our eyes to make it feel like it's a little bit more even, if that helps at all. That is Kim. And Kim, I'm giving you an 11. That's good. It definitely shows motion, and it's definitely high quality. High quality. This is really, really, really great. If anybody's been looking for my community on Discord, we haven't been on Discord for over 2 months, and we're thriving in this new community, in this new format, on a new platform, and it's so much more beneficial for everybody who's a part of it. It's easier to share work. It's just better. So, and also people were getting hacked. People's like, there's just so many things that were, the prime shot got gifted. Donna gifting it seems like it's a gifting party today. Donna, thank you for gifting a membership. Thank you so much. The prime shot. Donna Cranshaw just took care of you. Donna, thank you. Appreciate you. This is Stu Bowden. Stu says, this week I was privileged to be invited to document a performance of traditional Chinese dance. I made several attempts to drag the shutter with a rear curtain flash, but failed to please. These were not ideal lighting conditions by any stretch. Fuji XH1 50mm equivalent is 75. Shot at ISO. I sound like Mike Tyson now. ISO 3200, 2/50th of a second at 5.6. Okay, I'm wondering if upgrading to an R5 would allow this image to be captured in more detail at 3200. Okay, let's have a look at Stu Bowden. All right, Stu. Thanks for submitting, Stu. I appreciate you. First of all, I think the quality is the thing that we're really watching right here. Like shooting, I'm not sure. I don't know Sony cameras, but I know that the sensor here, I know my sensor would look better than this on an R5 for sure. You just saw 3200 on the sensor before, which was Samuel. For me, this is like, if you look at the formatting as far as like the cover formatting, like if you had backed up just a little bit, if there was only 3 people instead of like 5 people that you were trying to isolate, like if it was the right moment and it was like now this is the kind of a magazine that like a theater company would put on the cover. Like this is the kind of a picture that a theater company would hire you to do. But it's still taking pictures of shit that's happening. You just happen to be there, but you're not able to stop them, direct them, light them, do it. Like it's just, you're a participant like an audience member, but they're saying it's okay for you to take a photo. Well, is it okay for me to come in after and bring my lights and have them do the performance just for me so I can stand wherever I want and photograph them on the stage? Like, are you gonna let me do that? So it's like, when you frame it like you were given the privilege to do this, it's like, well, it helps them more than it helps you, because you photographing it and telling people about it and sharing it helps promote them. But it's like, it doesn't help you unless you're trying to take pictures of things that are happening. And by the way, if there's nothing happening, then there's nothing for you to take pictures of if this is what your angle is going to be. For me, I don't need something to take pictures of in order to take pictures. I just think of one of my 1,000 ideas that I have to execute, and I just execute it. If I need a person, I think of the many people who would happily volunteer if I was willing to point my camera at them, and then bring the best qualified one for that idea, and then I execute the photo. So taking pictures is always going to be a battle, Stu. It is always going to be a battle. Making pictures, well, you have control. So you can control the battle, where taking pictures, you have no control, and you get what you get. And if anyone else is there, they also got that. And if they're there and they have an R5 and you don't, well, then they get better photos. And then your photos are suddenly irrelevant because you were both there taking pictures of the same thing that was happening. So always trying to curb you away from taking pictures and into making pictures and executing ideas. Here's an idea. Get access to go backstage. Photograph these girls putting their makeup on. Photograph them tying up their shoes and getting their head thing straight, and like making sure that their waist skirt, like show them getting ready. That tells way more of a story than being in the crowd where everyone else is also watching and taking a picture from there. You're not bringing anything new. Everybody who was there saw this. So show us something that people who were there didn't see. And you'll start making pictures that have clickability, scroll stoppability, and interest for more people than just you. Stu, I hope that brings you value. Ooh. We go on. This is Monica. Canon R6 Mark II, 24-70 at 70 millimeter, f16, a 40th of a second, ISO 200. Thank you, she says. This is Monica Petrovski. Monica, map girl. Let's look at Monica. Thanks for submitting, Monica. Let's have a look at this as a cover. I mean, it's formatted perfectly as far as how you framed it. It works for an 8x10 on Instagram. It works for a cover. I want you to watch how close his finger is to the bottom of the frame. You can see, like, if he goes to print, you're going to lose his hand there. You've given this hand lots of space. You've given this hand lots of space. You've given tons of headroom, but you almost clipped his hand there. So you have to watch you got to really scan all sides of the frame. I see where the motion is, which is this thing up here dropping, but this thing is too small and it's not on a background that's contrasty enough for you to be able to catch this at first glance. It's not large enough. And I'm not sure if he is throwing it up or if it's falling from down and he's catching it. I'm getting the feeling that he's throwing it up. So if that's the case, have him throw up something that makes sense. Have him throw up his hat. Have him throw up a ball. Have him throw up his phone. Have him throw up like something, like keys. But what he's throwing up and how high up it is too high in the frame. It needs to be right here. And he's looking now too high up in the frame, which is meaning that we're looking under his chin and not seeing this crazy rock jaw that he has. He has such a strong jawline, but we're not seeing it because his head is up because he's tracking this. So if his head was down, his jawline would be here and he'd be tracking the keys right here. And then I could drop my masthead up there and it wouldn't hide what he's looking at. Does that make sense? So it's like, this is close, but for all of those reasons, it's kind of a miss. And also, yes, he's being lit by end of day sun, which is obviously putting this beautiful shadow behind, but the color balance, like his skin tone is still warm. It's too warm. It needs like a little bit of neutral. And how you can tell is this hat is white. And if this hat is white, then you can see this is also white. So look at how yellow and dingy that hat looks compared to this. So also this Carhartt logo is white and look how yellow it is. So like that, we have references. We have a reference right here where this is supposed to be white, and we have a reference up here where this to me looks like it's supposed to be whiter. If that's cream, it might very well be cream. Then this is our only white reference. Then we color balance from here. You just take a white dot from there and then see what your color balance looks like. Because you can see how yellow it looks in the hoodie, which is obviously black. That is Map Girl, Monica Petrovski. Monica, small things, but so close. So close. So close, so close, so close. All right, so here's some things that I've been thinking about now that I'm pre-recording my podcasts and then uploading them. Here's some things that I'm thinking about. First of all, I think my podcast would be a little bit longer if I have an audience. They're a little bit shorter when I don't. So sometimes I'm going to have an audience. Sometimes I'm going to want there to be an audience. So sometimes I'm going to go live, but it's going to be just me doing a recording, but you guys can hang out and chat. I'm going to turn off all the alerts and all the controls. So you're not going to be able to control anything because I'm doing a recording. But I like it, and I won't answer questions. You know what I mean? But I'm realizing when I wake up in the morning and I record these episodes ahead of time, actually like when there's people in chat. I like when there's people watching. I like when people, it makes me a little bit more amped up, and I think I deliver the content better. So what that means for you is there's going to be more live streams, but I'm going to do many of those for members. So there's going to be members only live streams. So you're going to get, if you become a member, you're going to be able to see those spontaneous recordings as they happen. If you're not a member, you'll just watch them after, the same way everyone else does. So it's going to happen. So people who are overseas, people who are in Australia, I have people watching me from New Zealand, like, you'll be able to watch stuff because I'm going to be recording them at sporadic times. So it's going to fit more people's schedule. You know, you're very welcome, Stu. So, yeah, I'm always trying to serve you. Like that's basically the vibe is, I'm really trying to make you guys, pro photographers. That's the goal. All right. So, what are we at for likes right now, people? What are we at for likes? Because I know I have some very generous people who, if we get certain likes amounts, although I gifted 5 memberships last episode and we didn't even have as many people watching as we do now, and we didn't have as many likes as we do now, and I still gave memberships. So I give 10 away per month. 10. So if I'm going to give 10 away per month, the next 5 that I give away this month, number one, I'm going to wait until later in the month because I like to spread it out. But I'm going to wait for there to be literally 50, 60 likes, and then I'll give. Okay. This is Nina. Oh, look at Mike Steinmetz. Mike, as promised, just gifted 5. Let's go, Mike. Mikey Steinmetz. Mike, you're a king. Good on you. Thanks for gifting. Good guy. Good golly, Miss Mike. Mr. Mike. Look at all you gifting. All right, this is Nina Galagos. Nina says, I took your advice and used a flat lay. The bag and flour is set on glass. I put lights under the glass and then pulled. Okay, let's see what you got here. Nina Galagos. Nina. The idea is to show movement within a still frame. Let's look at this as a cover. Nina, you push so hard. And calligraphy. And let me finish with Nina in a second. Calligraphy, thank you. Calligraphy and Joseph Baldwin are 2 of the people from my channel that are running behind the picture magazine. So Calligraphy just dropped 5 members on this channel. Calligraphy, thank you. Oh my goodness, what a gift. What a gift to this community. Calligraphy, thank you, my guy. Thank you. Wow, what a community. You guys are amazing. Nina. Let's look at the package because the packaging is the most important thing. Let's see what that looks like. It's nice and sharp. The movement in the flower, the movement in the light painting in the background, like this is a vibe. And again, this is a product shot that if you showed this to a client, I feel like they would get it. I feel like it would work. The only thing is that I know for sure is that you probably shot this horizontal and then turned it vertical. Because if I look at this picture and I turn it, like if I save this, let's save it to downloads. Let's open, where's me downloads? Where is me downloads? If I open me downloads folder, open with preview, Again, Nina, you know me. You can't hide anything from me, girl. So the assignment was a vertical photo, right? So this is your photo that you've submitted. And I know for sure that you shot this the other way. And I am going to rotate left because that's the way that you shot it. Yes or yes. Right? This is the way that you shot it. This is the picture. This is the picture. You shot it this way. It's 2 pages in a magazine. You shot it as a horizontal. And I can tell so much so because look at it as a horizontal, Nina. Tell me that you did not shoot this as a horizontal picture. And then when you realized that the assignment was a vertical picture, that you said, I'm just going to switch it and Carty's going to be cool. Right? So that for that part, it's like, I see that stuff. I'm so, and look at Nina saying, yes, I did. Nina, of course you did. So like that kind of stuff, like I totally catch that stuff. Like I'm like, it's Carty, it's me. Literally, you can't. I'm gonna see it. And again, you should hear my clients. You should deal with my girlfriend. You should see, like, this penetrates all aspects of my life. I see everything. You can't hide anything from me. I'm a seer. So the like rotation of the frame is something that for me, this picture works better as a horizontal. It works better as a horizontal, Nina. And tell me I'm not lying. Tell me I'm not lying. Tell me you don't see more of the flow and the movement from this as a horizontal picture. Tell me I'm lying. And this is a vertical assignment. And tell me you don't get the same feeling here because it feels like it's out of context where the light trails are coming from. It doesn't visually make sense. And everybody who's watching this, you all see this. You all see it, but you're not able to like articulate it the way that I did. You're like, something's off with the purport. It's because she shot it the other way and she rotated it. So, this is the deal, Nina. You're a talented shooter. The idea is strong. You're learning flat lay. Like, so the whole concept is you have to set up your camera vertical and see the photo come together vertically when that's the ask. There is no rotating. Like, it rarely works. And that means even with product photography. But your idea, Nina, it's an 11. Okay. I want to say this. Your idea is an 11. I feel it. And you didn't try hard enough last time you submitted. And I called you out on it. I'm like, Nina, I called you out on it. And what you did was fix it. The next time that you submitted, you tried way harder again. You know what I mean? So stay on that trajectory. This week, it's not a step backwards. It's back to a step forward. But now, again, if it's a vertical picture, compose it vertically. You can't do that. It just doesn't work. Compose it vertically and your verticals will like skyrocket. And also, secret time, do your flat lay not like if this is the table like this, don't do it like this. You have to do it like this, like directly perpendicular. It makes all your lines super straight. Don't hit it at an angle this way. Like, you need a rig. You need a rig that you can set up that is a frame where you have your camera, you can have it tethered, you can see the stuff on a screen so you're not constantly trying to do this weird, like, and every frame, click, that frame's different. Oh, that one's different. Oh, that one's different. Oh, that one. It's like, that's what it's like, yes or yes, when you're trying to shoot this top-down stuff without having a rig. If you don't have a tripod that can do top down and hide the legs, buy one. Get a table stand. There's a table stand that stands on the table and your camera attaches up here and your camera can go up and down and the legs give you enough space to shoot, and it's 100% perpendicular. So all your lines are straight. Please do this and your life will be so much easier. That is Nina Gallegos. Everybody, My voice. I'm getting close. You know, Steve, I think your voice is starting to go. I honestly think that your voice is starting to go. We'll be right back. I'm going to try to do Dr. Phil the whole time. Dr. Phil. You know, Oprah discovered me. Taylor Valentine is next. This is Shadow Surfing. DJI Mavic 2 with the Hasselblad LCD or El Hasselblad lens, Hasselblad sensor. 10 millimeter f5.6, 1/60th of a second, ISO 100. This is Taylor Valentine, named Shadow Surfing. Taylor, thanks for submitting. Taylor, I've seen a lot of drone photography on this channel. I've seen a lot of incredibly high-end drone photography. This photo and this idea works, but the blur doesn't. The blur, like, if you look at the crop, like I see everything that you're trying to do. Now, is this the right spot? I don't think so. Like, and again, it's close, but it's not the right spot. Is this the right crop? I don't think so. You need to be higher because we're not getting the fence that this shadow is created from. That fence is over here. So we need to see that fence. And we're also not getting the lamp post that's creating this shadow, because that you've hid out, you've cut out. So we need to see that shadow. And his shadow, because of his body position, we can't see that he's on a skateboard because he's crouched down or doing something weird. We don't have like that leg separation that when you're standing on a skateboard going really fast, you have to separate your legs in order to show that, which you would see in the shadow. But we don't see that because it looks like he's crouching down or something like that. And then where you caught him is attached to this shadow. So you need him to be here, like in between one of these shadows, in between one of these brackets. But because he's right here, now like we're losing a lot. Now when I zoom in, this is when, like when we zoom in, now when you look at his shadow and how this foot looks, and like now this whole thing looks not even like it's a human, because of how he's on this longboard. He's not just riding it, he's crouched and holding the front and the back. So that body language, it doesn't translate to the shadow. It doesn't translate from what's happening here to what's happening here. For me, I would not use this photo to try to show motion. I would try to use this photo to try to show that you can compose a photo that's interesting, that has shadow play. Trying to, like, when you're using shadow, you need your shadows to be crispy. And that doesn't work when you're trying to now add motion. So for me, this is a miss for so many reasons. The drone had to be higher by 100 feet to give you a little bit more perspective. And like there's ways to, like, this is one of those things that, like, I wouldn't have used the drone for this. I would have shot him on the ground. And just did a simple pan, like so simple, vertical pan. And then if he's down crouching like that, well, then now you don't need the shadow to look cool because he looks cool doing it. So I don't know. For me, this one's a miss. It's like, it's close, but it's a miss. It's a miss because, again, this, I understand, yes, we're showing motion, but that our eye doesn't take this in fast enough. And we look at this so quickly, it just, like, we're missing too many elements. And I don't want you to get discouraged. Understand that the way that the whole flow of when you're doing things right, Taylor, you're going to mess up a lot, but it's because you're trying things. You're swinging for the fences. Like in this particular case, I would have shot this idea on the ground because panning, it would have showed motion way clearer. And you could have got a sharper, cleaner photo with a digital mirrorless body on the ground than with the drone flying through the sky. Like, That's not, if I wanted to show motion, my initial thought is not drone in sky. That's not what I think of. I think panning, or I think slow shutter speed with shit happening on a tripod. So most of the image can be still, like structure, like architecture can be still, but what's happening with the person can be motion. So again, much like the example that I showed. And I think you guys saw my example in this. Like, and again, you can, I'll show it later. I'm right at the end of, like, I don't think I can do one more review without having a drink. Give me a minute. As a photographer, your portfolio is your voice in a visually crowded market. But are you confident that it's telling your story in the way that you intend? Many photographers struggle with showcasing their work effectively, often overlooking the power of a well-crafted portfolio. This is where my one-on-one portfolio review comes in. I'm offering you expert, personalized feedback on your work. With my 3 decades experience in pro photography, I bring you a discerning eye to your portfolio, helping you refine and package your work to make a lasting impact. We'll dive into the nuances of your style, the strengths of your composition, and the overall narrative of your portfolio in general. My focus will be on elevating your work, ensuring that it not only represents your skill, but also captivates an intended audience. Don't let your work go unnoticed. Sign up for a one-on-one portfolio review and let's fine-tune your presentation to the world. You'll come away with concrete steps to enhance your portfolio, making it not just a collection of pictures, but a powerful tool to elevate your photography career. Book your session right now, and let's take the first step towards making your portfolio as amazing as your photography. All right. All right. So, hope you guys are having a good time, by the way. I do these every Thursday, and I've renamed this show. We used to call this show Ask a Photo Pro, but this is now Behind the Picture, and it coincides with BTP Instagram, BTP with Carty, and it coincides with BTP Magazine, which is all about showcasing the photographers that watch this channel and giving you an avenue. Like, I'm distributing your work. I'm distributing your work on Instagram, crediting you, tagging you, obviously tagging you, so you can get more people. People who watch this you need to see where these pictures live. They live on our Instagram, and they live in the new Behind the Picture magazine. Make sure you're subscribed to Behind the Picture magazine. We'll send it directly to your email. Do it a couple times a week. All right, this is Colin from Arresting Photos. Good evening, Carty crew. Tried shooting some cosmetics. I think this would have been a lot better if I had a macro lens. I wanted the water to have some blur because I thought it would be more accurate to the motion brief. Nikon D5600, 50mm 1.8 f16, 1/60th of a second, ISO 100. This is Colin Blair from Arresting Photons, also Arresting Photography, Arresting Images. Colin, you're moving in the right direction, my guy. You're definitely moving in the right direction. Let's look at this as a cover. Yes, you're moving in the right direction for sure. Because first of all, it's simple. There's no distracting elements in this. I see the product. The product is super sharp. And I also see the water dancing all on it and around it. So technically, I mean, this water's coming in hot. You could definitely have like eased the stream of the water down by a little bit. But as far as the like Olay Regenerist, like you can definitely see the brand. You can like, it's super sharp, and the light. Look how he has the light set so it goes light, dark, and then light again. And you can see this nice like this is really great. He's lighting from either side so he can get nice separation on the water. Although we're losing a little bit of detail back here on that splash, and we're losing a little bit of detail here on this reflection. Still, for me, this wins. This wins. This is great. This is a great execution. Really good execution, for sure. Really good execution from Colin Blair. Excellent, 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 Colin. Oh, by the way, this is an 11. If this isn't clear to you, it's an 11. An 11. Are my people still here? Are you guys still here watching? You two? Older than dust. Seriously, why don't you go to sleep? Go to sleep. What time is it where you guys are? I don't even think this one knows where she is. I told you she doesn't know where she is. Anyways, I'm glad you're watching. I'm glad you're paying attention. I'm glad you're here hanging out with me. Kaaka Colin from Arresting Photos. All right, let's get into the next. This is Miss Jennifer. Miss Jennifer. Fresh squeezed with a splash, using flash duration to freeze motion. A fun mess. A7R3 50mm 100 ISO f16 at 1/250th of a second. This is Miss Jennifer. Let's see what Miss Jennifer is doing. Miss Jennifer, the work just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better and better and better. I feel like let's look at this as a cover, and even just as a cover, like it's a feature picture. Like I think right now where your problems lie is in the food styling department. There's some things with your lighting. Also, I can tell that you're lighting from a single source and you're not lighting into a reflector. We talk about this a lot, but you can't just have your light on a stand and aim that light on a stand. Like, here's your set, right? Here's your set. You have your table. You have your background, you have your glass here, and then like, let's look where your light is. If your camera is here, your light is right here in behind you. And I can see because it's 100% on this straight axis. So it is right here. So I can see that light, based on where this is, I can see that the light is right behind you. Okay. But it's not diffused because of how small this source is. The fact that this is just such a little dot, and that's a little dot, and there's just a little hint there, and this is a little dot, and there's dots and dots and dots. That's because you're using a small source instead of a large source. What we have to do is, number one, do top down light, where your light is up here lighting downwards, which is going to give like a gradient on the background, and it's going to top light all of these and look way more flattering. Another idea is you have your reflector. It looks like this. And then you have your light. And you light, let's draw light more accurately. You light into the reflector. And then the bounce comes off all of this and it comes out much bigger. And then that puts highlights, longer highlights along here. Longer highlights. And not these little dot highlights that you have. And we'll also catch highlights on this debris that you have flying around. What you're doing in the way that you placed your light, now you have this weird shadow back here. That's a shadow from this. And you have weird shadows going across the background there and down here. So it's almost creating like weird banding like through here. And I'm not sure if that's intentional, but it's like, it's not working. Also, the way that you've placed your two main oranges, you've left the navel of the orange facing forward. Super simple. Turn it so you don't see the end of the oranges. How often do you see the end of of oranges in advertising? Look in advertising, you'll see it never. They always turn. They're constantly turning the oranges, so you're not seeing any of the flawed part of the orange. And that navel is what it's called. That's why they call them navel oranges, is the belly button of the orange. And you have to make sure that you hide it. It's not the best face forward. Personally, for me, these two oranges I would have taken out, this one and this one. I would have taken them out, or I would have rotated them, or I would have separated them so you could feature the glass of orange juice a little bit more. Small things, Miss Jennifer, small things, but each one of these small things accumulate to be the difference between magic and like not quite there yet. You can't miss what I'm talking about with lighting. You can't miss what I'm talking about with styling. A food stylist, literally, a food stylist will change your life. It'll change your life. And I'm going to show you, let's just do a little Google search. No, you know what? We'll go on Behance because that's what we do. Google's going to be too much of a mess. But let's log into Behance and let us now see what is guanin in food photography and food styling. Even go and do a search that says orange juice, food photography. Boom. And you get to see like what's the level that's out there. Hey, here's an example, super close to mine. Here's an example, super close to mine. Let's see how they did it. Look at the can. Look at the highlights. This to me it's not quite as good. It's not. It's like, this is better. That flat lay shot is better. But where you need your work to be going is here. Like this level, this level, this level. Like how you make work that's this good is by looking at work that's this good. It's the only way that you get there, is you have to look at it. You have to look, and it's like these photographers exist, like that are so good. And then you follow the rainbow. This is a female photographer. And then you look at her specific product photography. Wow. Do you see the difference? Which is why, like, when you go on, like, when you're not looking anywhere for references, when you like, it becomes suddenly like, look at this polish. Look at this little starburst that they have. Look at the candy, how, and there's a lit match dropping from the sky. Like, look how creative this is. So when you're making work, you have to look at references, because if you don't, you're like, it means that you're going into work without a clue. And if you don't know what advertising looks like, if you don't know what top level advertising looks like, how are you going to make it? So these are the kind of sets, like, you have to try hard, Miss Jennifer. Like, look at what your competition is doing. So like the lighting and the set design is the most important thing with your work, is your set design. And sadly, like, the set design isn't like kicking yet. It's still just what you think is good, and it's like, it's not there yet. It can't just be raw. You didn't cut a single orange. Cut an orange in half. Where does the orange juice come from? Inside the orange. Did you cut an orange to show us inside any one of? It's like, no, just open a bag of oranges, throw them on the thing, put the thing. Okay, picture. Do you want to see what oranges look like in professional photography? Well, this is what you do. You go on Behance and you search oranges photography. And then you see, when people shoot citrus, what it should look like. And then you find like your favorite one, and then you throw up in your mouth. Like, that's how you find, like, and also look for the product photographers that are watching. Look at all the top down. And then I'll show you boring oranges photography. Well, this is not bad. It's underexposed. It's not bad. But this, natural light, but the highlights aren't very great. Average, not great. So it's like, sometimes it's hard to even find the references, Miss Jennifer, but what I need you to do is go further than just this. Like literally, oh, you want oranges? Here's oranges. Look how ugly these oranges are. Seriously, she didn't even pick good ones. They're all bruised up and stuff. She didn't even retouch it out to make them look perfect. And then look at the difference. And then look at that. Like, look at the difference between like completely polished high-end photography and just throwing something on a set and taking a photo of it. And I'm not saying, Miss Jennifer, that that's at all what you're doing, but I do need you to really like, you go like this. We go like this. You go up and then down and up and down. It has to be constantly up. We're all allowed like off weeks, but it starts with the references. Look at crazy references. Just one last orange photo. Like, look at this. Like, just show this. Super easy. Flat lay. Cut the oranges thin. Now put your drink in that context. I hope this helps. This is Miss Jennifer. Miss Jennifer. Miss Jennifer. So close with this picture. So close. All right. All right. This is Daniel Van Cleef. Daniel says, a prayer in motion. After many trials and error, moving my gear around the house and in the yard, I'm mostly satisfied with this result. I enjoyed the process. I'm constantly learning. After some asking around, I eventually used just a top light dangling down and a flash. Had to do some post-production. Fuji X Pro 3, ISO 160, 1 second at f11 with a 35mm lens on a crop sensor. This is Daniel Van Cleef. Thanks for submitting, Daniel. Missed Anna Kaa, says somebody. I'll go back. Give me a second after I look at Daniel. Thank you, Ammon. Let's have a look at Daniel Van Cleef. First, let's look at this as a cover. Your formatting is great. Like, as far as understanding the cover format and giving your images a little bit of space to breathe, shooting on a darker background, contrasting the lighter wrap that this guy has is great. The movement, I definitely see it. Like, it's a double exposure. The problem is, like, obviously there's two different focus points. He's in focus down here on this one, but not quite in focus up there. There's also a exposure. This is under by, I would say, maybe a third to a half of a stop. But I mean, the doubling on the arms, it's because he moved, obviously, in between the frames. I would really love to see that without the doubling, because then that would make what's happening in here way more mysterious. Because I see the doubling in the arms, I know that it's just two pictures shot on top of each other. This is close. There's a couple of things that are really off the exposure. The top light is okay, but the light really isn't doing anything, especially because it's overall like under by half a stop. Does it show motion? Yes, but this is not a photo that, like, yes, it shows motion. I just would do it different. I would do it with like a head turn, like that kind of a thing, rather than a head up, because it throws it just throws it off just a little bit. Again, this is one of those things that you have to really, really experiment with. Yes, something you really have to experiment with. You did make me think of a good experiment for this next week, though. Daniel, so close. Work on. I almost want to see other edits. I want to see this almost like a little simpler. Drop another edit or two in just chatting. Daniel Van Cleef, everybody. All right. This is Vicky Sonic. After submitting my movement photo with my space helmet, I've decided to spin myself around the yard. I'd like to say that this POV mask character is spinning around with Atlas. Nikon Z6 Mark II, 12 millimeter, 1/20th of a second, ISO 1250. This is the one they call the one and only Vicky Sonic. Vicky, thanks for submitting. Vicky, this is a yes. Yes. It's a yes for so many reasons. Number one, it already looks like a magazine cover. It already looks like a magazine cover. Really great detail on the space helmet. One thing I always try to advise is to watch contrast. There's not really enough contrast between your shirt and the green grass, your shirt and the moving trees here. If you had a green shirt on, a yellow shirt on, any other color than black, that would give your body a little bit of separation. Your head is definitely a little bit centered, like dead center here within a vertical frame. But because of the motion and because of the fluidity and the way that you have like this circle, oh my goodness, that's not a circle, this circle of light here, holy crowley, this here, this, all of this gives like it molds you and makes it so your face in the center works. You do have some dust on the sensor that you can see right here. Make sure that you get a blower brush and clean off your dusty sensor, girl. You got a little bit over here too, right here. But again, overall, look at this up close. Up close, this is crazy, Vicky. I think exposure-wise, it's a little under. I would love you to bump this exposure up a little bit. It's a little noisy, but it's not bad. I want to see you literally execute this idea more and execute it in different places. The fact that you can put like stuff here, even branding, it's just really a cool idea. This is a yes for me. This is a yes. Small thing. I wish you had a white shirt. If you had a white shirt, the white shirt would have tied in with the white helmet and then really, really separated you from here, and you would have seen movement throughout the whole photo instead of just movement out in the sky. Small thing, Vicky, but this is a banger for me. Good job. That's Vicky Sonic, everybody. Vicky Sonic. I think I'm going to write a song about it. Wrote a song about it. Want to hear? Here it goes. Vicky Sonic. All right. This is Tom Fox. Tom shot with a Z6 70mm f4 at 1/500th of a second. This is Tom Fox. Let's go, Tom. Thanks for submitting. Look what you did in order to make this photo. Somebody wasn't very happy with you. But like the water movement, like holy, that's a lot of water that they had to eat. And it looked like you did it more than once. Like it really looks, based on how much water she has already on her shirt. I wish you had been able to catch this on the first one, because you can see she ate quite a bit of water on this one. I like how you cropped it though. It's a creative like half face crop. I mean, yes, it's offset to one side, and yes, you do really have to watch that edge when the magazine opens, but it could be a double cover magazine where you see the rest of her face open on the back cover when you see the back cover. It's a clever idea. Exposure wise, this is under, I would say, by a third. A little under. Make sure you don't have too many distractions in the background. That shape back there is a little distracting, but the focus on her face is wicked, really, really sharp. Just again, it's under by just a touch. Her skin should feel just a little bit more punchy, because overall this feels a little gray.
And when we see gray, it ends up being muddy, right? Like that's the feeling. You always can fix muddiness with like nailing the exposure or really making that exposure proper in post. This definitely meets the brief, but Tom, I have big hopes for you. You've executed some amazing photographs, like some amazing ones, like truly. So I just want to keep pushing you and seeing how far we can go. So excited about our next assignment. I know exactly what I'm making you guys do. Sean Thompson. This was made using a Z6 24-70 shot at f4 at 53 millimeters, 20th of a second, at ISO 51, I think. This is Sean Thompson, not to be mistaken with Sean Thomas. Sean, thanks for submitting. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this frame. And also, it's like I see this hand. I'm not sure if seeing this hand was intentional. I also see what looks like the edge of what you were using as a background. This is a little bit contrasty, meaning we're not seeing shadow detail. That bottle's transparent. We should be able to see through a little bit. And if you brighten it a little bit, you do get to see a little bit into the Coca-Cola bottle. Whenever we're doing any kind of product photography, whenever we're doing any kind of, and again, you're just like I'm not sure if the bottle is moving or if it's being strung up. Like there's a couple of different, but does it show motion? Yes, of course. It's just the background is not extended far enough. Like imagine if this background like went the whole way and there wasn't that line there. There's also this line along the side, there's a line along the bottom, and then there's a hand here. Like if this was just the Coke bottle with this stuff flying around exposed properly, that would definitely work. What I do always, whenever you're going to do anything that's related to a brand that's so well known as Coca-Cola, like think of it. What is more photographed than a Coca-Cola bottle? Like seriously, what's more photographed than a Coca-Cola bottle? Like all you need to do is go on Behance and search Coca-Cola and then say creative fields and say photography. And then you get to see what people are doing with Coca-Cola. If any, let's see. Coca-Cola. So you get to see what's happening and what people are doing with the brand. How people are shooting lifestyle photography with the brand. How people are using Coca-Cola with their other photography in order to sell the brand. So it's like this is called intelligent imitation. This is how whenever you're going to endeavor into shooting any product is you have to see what's out there on the product so you can shoot creative that aligns with what the brand is doing right now. So this is just, again, a photographer. He's not, obviously, I would say not very experienced, but trying. These are all people who are doing what I call Coca-Cola tries, which is just like doing spec work for Nike. What this is a great ad, like a great image. Coca-Cola ad. Look at the light, like the bottles are highlighted. Like it couldn't be a better spot for light. Seriously. And he even made the bottles like sweat to make it look like they're cold. So when we're doing this type of photography, what if we're shooting in the studio, Look, notice that there's no horizon line or you're not seeing the whole background. It's like, it's just perfect. So my vibe is spend time looking to see what perfect looks like before you make photos. Because when you do that, then you're far likely to hit a target if you know what the target is. And you remember when I said the bottle is too dark, it's too contrasty. The Coke bottle, it doesn't render like that. Now let me show you. You see what I mean? It's the bottle, it's so dark. Like, we don't render Coca-Cola like that. So this is intelligent imitation. This is what I would recommend that you do before you shoot anything. Sure, like before you shoot anything, in order to not waste time and have to shoot stuff over and over and over and over again, find out what's happening with the brand, what is selling, what they're paying for, and then try to make work that like fits that, you know? And it's like a super highway. Then you're fast tracking into the industry because you understand the brand. This is all brand. Like, this is brand. Like, that could be a spec photo, but it's executed so well that Coca-Cola sees this picture and they just buy it. They just buy it because it's right on brand. Super, super important. But I think photographers miss this. I really do. I think photographers miss the necessity of like understanding brand when it comes to what we're doing here with this career. I hope this brings you value. All right. That, mister, was a little lesson on Coca-Cola. All right. All right. Let us get back to the right screen. All right. So for me, by the way, if it's not clear, Sean, be hyper aware of how much of your background you see. If you're seeing the edges of your background, fix it. Don't just be like, no. It's always, Carty's going to see it. It's not industry standard. I don't see any other photographers doing that. Why am I doing it? Like, seriously, use me and other people as an example to help you correct. I hope that brings you value. Sean Thompson. This is Stevie Gagne, Nikon Z9, shot at 1/25th of a second, f10, ISO 450. Stevie Gagne showing motion within a still frame. Stevie, thanks for submitting. I'm realizing I'm needing to nudge you technically a little bit more difficult from time to time. Stevie, composition wise, yes, I see composition. You nailed this as like a perfectly framed cover. But what is happening? And did you show motion? Yes, you're showing motion. Great. It's an easy pan. It's in the right location. But what are you doing with post-production? Like, what is happening here? He looks literally like he's underwater. Literally, he looks like he's underwater. What are you doing in Photoshop? Look at how his helmet is blurred here, but it's jagged up here. Like, these kinds of things, we don't buy $4,000 cameras in order to do this on top of our photos in Photoshop in Lightroom because we don't know what we're doing. Like, this is, again, and you see it often. Like, at first look, it's like, wow, what a great photo at first look. But then you look closer and that's when it falls apart. And it can't fall apart under close inspection, Stevie. If we've talked about this, we've talked about this before, now I'm going to remember your post-production is horrible. So now that's all I'm looking. Before I even look at the whole picture, I'm going to do this and look to see what you're doing in post, to see if your photo is the photo or if it's all kinds of like noise filters and all this shit that you're doing on top of your picture to make it look to your eyes better. It's not. It's looking worse because to a trained eye, It's a mess. And to a printed piece of material, a printed magazine, have you ever walked up close to an ad and looked at it and seen it look like this? You'd be like, ew. Do you want people doing that with your work? Obviously not. So how you fix that is learn how to process your photos so you're not butchering them, because you're butchering your files. Are you shooting raw? Yes. But then you're killing what you're doing to the raw file and then exporting it. So learn what to do to the raw file so you don't kill your files, because you're degrading your files. Literally, I don't want to do Photoshop content here. I don't want to, because there's too many photographers that are making Photoshop content. Follow Benja Media, my editor. He watches his channel. He's going to make Photoshop content. He's going to make Lightroom. He's going to make video, like editing content. You need to watch people who that's all they do is talk about editing. Anthony Morganti on YouTube, on Substack. All he talks about is Photoshop and Lightroom. Pix Imperfect. All he talks about, Photoshop, Lightroom. Are you watching those guys? You know what I mean? You're watching me to learn how to run the business, but you have to also watch those guys to learn how to make the work and do the stuff in post to make the work, so you can come to me so I can help you sell it. So I can help you sell you. But without those pieces, it's like you're trying to climb up a ladder, but there's no rungs for the first 12 feet. And the rungs start up there because you're only focusing on this part, but not focusing on the post-production part. Stevie, this is a hard miss, my guy. Hard miss. And for the reason why is because of this. That's a hard miss. This is a photo assignment. You are giving me a photo illustration that you're doing in Photoshop, and that is unacceptable. Stevie, game on. Thank you for submitting, my guy. All right. We are in the last few photos here. This is Mike Morrison capturing some motion on a slot car track. Sony A7R5 with a 78200, shot at 120, 8 second exposure, f11 at ISO 50. This is Mike Morrison. Mike, thanks for submitting. Mike, this is dark. Off the top of the dome, this is dark. It's very dark. It's so dark that without this little hint of seeing the Hot Wheels track in front, we don't know that it's a Hot Wheels track. There's no detail under the car. Like, you see this shadow right here? Like, there would now be light here and then still light here, but not black. There's also a shadow under this car. We don't see anything. Under here, we don't see anything. And then back here, it just disappears into nothingness. So I don't yes, I see there's a streak, but these duplicate cars, I just caught that right now because there's no other lights, there's no context, there's nothing. It's just black. You can't do it in blackness. There needs to be something. Like, I only see one track, but there's two cars, but I see that was the police car's lights. I thought that this was lights on the side of the road. Like, do you understand? This isn't giving me enough information. And on top of all of this, why are you shooting model cars when you shoot real cars? Why are you shooting model cars when you shoot real cars? Well, because I have model cars. They were sitting on the shelf. I didn't really have an idea for what I was going to do for this thing. And I just thought, I'll just grab these model cars, put them on a track and go and take some photos, and call that my assignment. Okay. That worked for you. I mean, for me, I'll remind you, Mike, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter for me whether you shoot the assignment to the highest level that you can or the bare minimum that you can do. For me, I've seen your work. I've seen you shoot drivers with helmets. And I mean, although your images, I'll say it very straight, are dark. They're always dark. Fix that. You always put your subjects on a dark background. Always. But there's no backlight. There's no separation. There's no polish. There's no reflector that separates the darkness into the back. You need a separator. There's nothing. So you're translating what you're doing, what you've done the last couple of weeks with the guy with the helmet
like when you're not shooting outside, when you're not shooting cars outside, but when you're inside using artificial light, it's dark. You don't have a light meter. I know you don't have a light meter because you're shooting everything 1.5 stops too dark. It's painful. I'm wanting you to fix that. And you're also choosing, like, this is you. You're shooting black cats at night. So it's like something coming out of the darkness. There's no separation. So these are the things that, like, I remember the work because you're submitting. And I also know if you're a car photographer, why are you shooting toys? Well, they're toy cars. Yeah, but guess what? When Mercedes-Benz wants to hire you to shoot a campaign, are you going to pull out your toy car collection and be like, can I practice on these? Or are you going to open a portfolio and show them pictures of toy Mercedes-Benz and be like, here's my portfolio? What do you think they're going to say? Is this a joke? Where's the car photography? Like, seriously, Mike, like you're digging a hole and you're putting a seed in it. But that seed, it's like, if it's not, there's no point. It's like, you're like, this, I need to be an apple seed, but it's like, it looks like an apple seed at far, if I was way far enough, I can look at toy cars and think that they're real. So it looks like an apple tree from far away. But when I get up there and it's like, oh, it's fake fruit. It's what you're doing. You're literally giving me fake fruit. It's almost a real car. It's almost a real car chase, only it's pretend. So this, for me, it's like a wasted idea. And therefore, because the idea isn't strong and then you executed it, it's a wasted time. And then the result of it, you can't show to get more work because you're not trying to shoot toys, Mike. So why spend any effort doing work that will not work? And you know that this work won't work. It's not even working on me saying thumbs up, great job. It's not even working on me. So all work works, but you have to do the right work first. You got to do the right work. Yeah, this for me is a dramatic miss, Mr. Mike Morrison, and more so because I know what you're capable of. And that's what hurts my feelings, and it should hurt yours as well. You know what you're capable of, but yet this is what you're giving me. There's 1,000 different ways that you could show motion with a real car, really moving. Just think of Sean Thomas's portfolio. Now, if this brings you value, my friend. All right. We are getting into the last photos. Calligraphy. Don't forget Anna. Let's go back up. Thank you. How did I miss Anna? Anna says, I captured a couple of fun images for the motion within a still frame assignment. It was really hard to pick one, but there's something about this shot that stood out to me the most. The motion effect was triggered by dragging the camera while it was fixed on a tripod with a slow shutter. I used a Godox RGB red light tube to add a little bit of pink to the face. ISO 100, 3.5, quarter of a second at 85 millimeter on a Nikon D780. This is Anna Kaa. Thank you for your feedback, says Anna. Anna, thanks for submitting. This is an editorial portrait for sure. Like, for sure. It has a vibe. Anna, this is kind of a haunting, like ethereal, kind of ghosty feeling that, I mean, you shoot so many different things well. This is a technique that I'd like to see you incorporate into your work again. The fact that you dragged her backwards, so it's like her face is kind of pulling forward. You could definitely do the opposite where it's like the back of her is going backwards. Like, I definitely understand why you did it this way. But this is a yes for me. This is a yes. This is 100% an 11 out of 10. Look at it as a cover. I can actually see it as a cover. Anna's in my Pro Accelerator. She's also had lots of time with me one-on-one. Anna has actually gone so far as to drive to Toronto. Like, literally 7 hours has driven to Toronto just to hang out and have dinner with me. And have dinner with me and my partner. Like, her and her husband and me and my partner. We had dinner. So it's nice. And Anna's a great person. And Anna, this is like
there's something here. This is a technique that you didn't blow out in exposure. Like you didn't lose detail in the fabrics. Like, so the clothing, you're showing the clothing, you're showing the little nuances in the clothing, the delicateness of her like manicure, what she like, the sharpness of this very delicate necklace. You still see this beautiful exposure on her face, but yet you have this blur and this trail, and it's lovely, and I love it, and it's an 11, and amazing. Do it again, please. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. All right. I am so charged about this week's assignment. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but some people will nail it. Some people will nail it. We're going to combine some elements to create this crazy assignment. This is Richard Loftus II. So my submission for the week, after countless attempts of getting shots of movement, I decided to go with this perfect timing photo of a bird flying in front of a bay bridge with a fish simultaneously jumping out of the water. R6 Mark II, 75 to 300 at 300, 1600 of a second, F13, ISO 1250. Richard Loftus II. Richard, thanks for submitting. I definitely like, again, this is one of those, like, it's a decisive moment photo. I mean, cool, amazing. Like, what I'm trying to understand is, like, who pays you for this? Who pays you to take these photos? And again, if you can't figure out, like, this is an example of you taking a picture of something that you saw, which, again, Richard, I'm going to say it so clear. I don't care about this photo. I don't care. And nobody was going to care. The only person who cares is the person who took it, which is you. So it's because there's no like commerce to this art. This is just, I think it's cool. I took a picture. Okay. You know, I talk about this every week. Executing ideas is the fastest route to success. Taking pictures of things that you see will take you 100 years to get noticed, because we live in the most image saturated time that there's ever been. You could literally keep taking pictures, but what you're doing is you're adding to the noise. I can't help you. There is no business model for pointing a camera at random things that you see. All that is camera operation. You're showing that you can capture something on a sensor, and that's not moving the needle. And it's also random. You're not like, how do you catch a piece of paper on fire with a magnifying glass? You hold it in one spot. And guess what? It catches smoke, and eventually the whole thing catches fire. But guess what? If you aim over here, and 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 you aim over here, it's like you're doing, Richard. Is anything catching fire? Is anything catching fire that you're doing? No. Because you're not focusing on any one thing for long enough for you to get the understanding as to what you need to do more of. And then you do that. It's like it compounds once you focus on one thing. You do not have a niche. So you're therefore, anything that you see is interesting. Now, if you want to throw up a little bit in your mouth, look at National Geographic. Look at National Geographic and ask yourself, how far am I from shooting at National Geographic level? How far am I? Because that's how you have to shoot. You have to be at that level before someone's going to pay you for the shit that you see and point your camera at. 20 years, 30 years. Now, executing ideas, you can learn how to execute ideas and then make money next week for learning how to execute an idea for somebody.
What would you rather do? Keep taking pictures of birds and whatever else you see, street photography or whatever else, or learn how to read the market, find a niche, make work only for that niche, deploy that work to that niche who needs that work. What do you think is the faster way to become a photographer? Because for me, like, I love the photo reviews. It's amazing, but I'm not going to give praise for pointing at something that you see. Because if I was there with my camera next to you, suddenly your photograph, it's not relevant, because my photo would be better because I have 3 decades of experience. You know what I mean? And if you, now there's tons of people there, now everybody has the same photo. So what kind of value does one photo have when there's 30 photographers that have the same photo from different perspectives? Just, you know, there's something happening and a bunch of people training a camera on it. Guess where I am? Somewhere else, or enjoying it, not definitely photographing it, because it's usually music. Richard, this again, yes, does it show movement? Sure, yeah, birds fly, they move through the sky. Fish swim, they jump through the water from sometimes. Yes, cool, you caught it. Composed well? Yes, cool, composed well. Does it move the needle? No. So, and again, it's not technically perfect. It's not like absolutely tack sharp. It's not National Geographic level. So again, it's not an interesting enough fish in order to make it so you can even tell that it's not a fish and not just a leaf. So these are the reasons. And again, I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just being truthful. I'm being truthful. And it's hard because people don't want to hear the truth. They want to hear praise. Oh, great photo, bro. Oh, amazing. That guy who knows nothing about photography, who's never worked as a photographer, who's not trying to work as a photographer, who has no hiring power to hire you, giving you praise for something. That's just like literally, it means nothing. It means nothing. It's just validation. So we go and seek other people who don't know to validate photography that we know deep down is probably not as good as we could be. I hate being rude. And again, I'm not trying to be rude, but I am trying to be serious. Like, this isn't a joke. Like, of the 100% of people who want to be a photographer, maybe 16% will make it further through their first year. Maybe 16%. The 86%, those people are taking pictures. Do you want to be in the 16%? Start making pictures instead of taking them. Super simple. I hope that brings you value. All right. We are at our last photo. This is Romeo Fowler. Some softball action, Fuji X-T3, 35mm lens, ISO 160, f11, shutter speed 3 seconds. One love. This is Romeo Fowler shooting his favorite subject, his daughter. Romeo, you know I continually say that you need to shoot more different people. Anytime that you shoot somebody else, it always works amazingly for you, but yet you still always, I love your daughter. She's amazing. She's a great subject. But you need to add to your collection of who you photograph. Collect more people that you can photograph all the time. So when it comes time for deploying your portfolio, it does not look like just an homage to your daughter and 30 photographs of the same person, which honestly will not get you work. It won't get you work. It will make you look like you're obsessed over your daughter, which I understand. And I know she's there and sitting with you and I love her and it's amazing. And it's great that she's such a willing subject. But I've said again, it will help you greater if you expand the reach of who you photograph, the age group of who you photograph, and the ideas that you execute with those people. The exposure here is under. It's under by a full stop. It is very dark. It is so dark that, in fact, her hair, we can't see that, like, is her hair tied behind? Because it's just going into black. It's just going into black. The exposure here is under by at least a stop on her skin. You're going outside at night. So you have her not wear a black hat. You have her wear a contrasting color that's not black. So it actually shows and gives you separation between that and the background. Because she also has black hair, which is also going to disappear if you don't light it. She's wearing black pants, so you don't see her pants unless she's wearing a contrasting color. That's why you see her shirt and then no legs. So for me, it's underexposed. She's wearing the wrong outfit to do the idea that you want to do to show these the baseball bat. Her shoes are cool. We don't see them enough because it's underexposed in the position. And it just looks like her t-shirt is floating within this circle. So, Romeo, I've said if you're going to be shooting with, I'm not going to call it flash, we're going to call it strobe. If you're going to be shooting with strobe, you need a light meter. I say it every time. And if you have a light meter, you need to learn how to use your light meter and use it effectively, because this is underexposed. And there's been times when I challenge you to shoot under these kinds of conditions where the work is dark, and I need you to fix that so your work can be better, so you can actually get work. That's the vibe, is me to help you so you can get work. If you're going outside at night and you see a girl's wearing dark pants that are tights, be like, hey, do you have white ones? Or you see she's wearing a gray shirt, say, hey, do you have gray sweatpants that can match that gray shirt? If she's putting on a baseball type look, hey, do you have like a baseball uniform type outfit that we can put on to go with this baseball type idea that I'm doing? You can't do anything halfway, honestly. And again, Romeo, thank you. I hope that helps, and I hope that brings you value. You can't do anything halfway with this photography business, and I'm not being hard on you. I'm actually not. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just telling you the truth. I don't collect your money to give you these reviews to give you back what you want to hear. You can have your wife tell you you're great. You can have your wife tell you your photographs are the best that she's ever seen. If you want a professional look at your work, I'm going to tell you the truth. And the truth, sometimes it's like jarring. Sometimes, especially if I see mistakes over and over and over and over again by the same photographer, and I've said it this way, and then I've said it this way, and I've said it this way, and I've said it this way, and the same thing's happening, I get frustrated. You know what I mean? Because it's not like there are some photographers that hear this information and just go to the sky with it, go to the moon with it. Other people, I say the same thing over and over and over and over again, and it's like they don't even listen. So I get frustrated. I try not to, because again, this is a service for you. I'm here to try to help you in a very positive way get to the next level with your photography. But also, that what's frustrating for me is I believe in you sometimes more than you believe in yourself. And in order for you to live up to your own hopes and dreams that you have for being a photographer, well, you need to talk to a professional. That's me. And the professional who you're talking to is saying you need to do X, Y, and Z in order to get better. The people who take that and go and do X, Y, and Z, they get better. The people who don't, they stay the same, which is totally fine. Because for me, I develop every day. I turn into a new thing every single day because I'm constantly changing my inputs and changing my perspective. Anyone who's watched me, you've seen how many times this show has evolved. It's necessary. We got to always change and develop. All of that to say this week's assignment is going to be harder. It needs to be, because I think like I need to separate the like crazy from the people who are pretending, you know? Let's see who's pretending and who's a real shooter. Let's see who's really going to do this and who's treating me just like another one of their like fun after school classes, you know? Okay, so this is the vibe. For those who wish to do next week's assignment, your assignment is this. I wish for you to shoot a hero advertising image. A hero advertising image. Now, I'm going to let this, because this is already hard. Shooting an advertising image is going to be hard, but I'm going to make it easier for you by giving you incredibly tight directions. Number one, shoot vertical, okay? This is for a transit shelter. Like imagine bus shelters, they're vertical. So you're going to have to hold your camera vertical for this. And also watch the edges. Don't have your stuff so close to one edge or so close to the other edge, because with advertising, there's the product name and stuff like that. And the hero has to be the product. But if you're a people photographer, you have the person who's a hero person with the product, which is the hero product. If you're a lifestyle photographer, it's a people using that product shot in a cool, stylish way. If you're a product photographer, this is your wheelhouse. Do something different. Shoot product photography on location. Think of how Kyle G continually wins photo of the week is because he takes these products outside, not in the studio. He's not using beat up pieces of construction paper. Like, he actually cares. And everything that you're doing in the in-house, I see it. If there's literally crinkled paper, I see it. Wrinkled background, I see it. Dirt on your sensor, I see it. So you have to care about your work as much as I do. I care about my own work. Like, I'm like insane about my own photography, but I want you to be the same. The details that I notice, you have to notice them too. And this is why you pay me, because I'm trying to help you to have a discerning eye about your own work the way that I have about your work. So this week's assignment is simple. Create a vertical hero advertising image within your niche. Pick a product that people would desire. Pick a product that people would desire. Okay, here is an example of a hero advertising image, only it's horizontal. But this is a hero advertising image photographed within the shooter's niche. It works as a double page spread, although I'm asking you to shoot a vertical, okay? Vertical, but this is a hero advertising image. Notice how there's no elements except for this girl and that Coke bottle and the feeling. Taste the feeling. You get that from this photo. This is your impossible task if you choose to accept it. Do you want to know who won photo of the week? Do you want to know? I do too. Let's get into it. We're going to go into photos of the week because it is my favorite thing to do. And in no particular order, people, these are your photos of the week. Our first photo of the week goes to the one they call Ammon Thompson. Let's go. Photo of the week. Ammon, congratulations. Ammon Thompson. Photo of the week. Well done, Ammon. Very, very well done. Photo of the week. Carty approved. Our next photo of the week. Our next photo of the week. First photo of the week winner. Congratulations. You know him as Juan Herrera. Photo of the week. Congratulations, Juan. Let's go. My pro accelerator looks good on you, huh? The accelerator looks good on you, huh? Looks good. It's working for you, my guy. Good shit. That's Juan Herrera. This is really good. Really, 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 really good. How many people are happy that my commands are back? I'm going to make new ones now. I'm very happy that I got that tech support going. Believe me, what a... But we got it going. Guys. Your next photo of the week goes to Garan. Well done, my guy. Photo of the week. Congratulations. Really, really well done image. Very timely image and well executed. Garan Wrath. Photo of the week. Congratulations, Garan. Meat, right? Yeah? Right? I think so too. Right?
More photos of the week? More. Photo of the week, people. Your next photo of the week goes to Kyle Gagne. Photo of the week. Show motion within a still frame. Kyle Gagne, congratulations. By the way, if you're winning photo of the week, you make sure that you connect with my content people who run Behind the Picture magazine. That is Calligraphy and Joseph Baldwin. They need to collect some information. We're going to ask for a little bit of a write-up on each of these photos that won so we can make a nice article to send out to our subscribers. Kyle Gagne, congratulations. Congratulations. Our next photo of the week. Our next photo of the week. Our next photo of the week goes to Joshua Haney. Joshua, Carty approved. Photo of the week, buddy. Well done. Very excellent. Excellent, Smithers. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Smoke it. Smoke, smoke. Well done. Joshua Haney. Congratulations, Joshua. Our next photo of the week winner. Our next photo of the week winner. And again, another, again, I'm not hand picking people from my accelerator. FYI, know that I called out my brother, my actual family, for mailing it in. So don't think that I play favorites at all when it comes to who gets photos of the week. It just so happens, you tell me if you think that I'm talking shit when you see the pictures that I pick for photos of the week. Guys, our next winner of photo of the week. I know they're hanging on their chair right now. I feel it. Our next winner, photo of the week, goes to Liza Hyder with this photo of the week win Liza Hyder showing motion using water in a still frame. Liza Hyder. Photo of the week, Liza. Congratulations. Next. Our next. How many more? Oh, I was very generous this week. Very, very generous, I say. Very generous. Let's see. Very generous. I think we got 1, 2, 3 photos left. All right. So our next photo of the week winner. Our next photo of the week winner. Consistency out the wazoo. This is Colin Blair from Arresting Photos. Colin, photo of the week. Amazing. Well shot. Great idea. Technically, very good. Very good. We're going to just keep tuning your radio, Colin. Very well played, my guys. Colin from Arresting Photos. Colin Blair, photo of the week. Boop. Our next photo of the week winner. Our next photo of the week winner goes to Vicky Sonic with the photo of the week right here with this crazy kaleidoscope circle amazingness. Vicky, you win, girl. Congratulations. Photo of the week. Well played, Vicky Sonic. Vicky, when you win, you win. When you hit, you hit. You hit hard. Seriously. And our last photo of the week winner, people. Our last photo of the week before I deliver it to you best in show. Our last photo of the week winner goes to the one they call Anna Kaa. Anna Kaa wins photo of the week. Let's go, Anna. Very, very, very excellent picture. Guys, those are your photos of the week, but there is one more task that I must do. That task is awarding Best in Show. Best in Show is what I believe to be the best photograph of the week, the best photograph of the week that served the brief, that told a story that is worthy of the cover of a magazine. And there are some incredible contenders, like real contenders. And I am going to give it to, let me just do one last scan here, because Best in Show, I really want to be sure of it, and I think I am. There are 3 just undeniable photographs that are going to take home Best in Show today. 3. Ladies and gentlemen, your Best in Show. First, Juan Herrera. Congratulations, Juan. Not only your first photo of the week day, but your first Best in Show. That is the top of the top of the heap, the best of the best. Best in Show. Congratulations. But there's more. We got 2 more. 2 more photographers that just smashed it this week as far as really understanding the assignment. And again, this week's assignment you'll see in the community. I'll do it right now as soon as I finish this podcast. Give me a couple of minutes. I need to take a breath. Hero advertising picture. Hero advertising picture. Hero advertising picture. Vertical. Our next photo of the week goes to the one they call Kyle G. Photo of the week. Best in Show. Stacking them up, my guy. Stacking them up. Best in Show. Photo of the week. Stacking them. This is Kyle G. Congratulations, Kyle. Best in Show. And our last and final Best in Show has been such an incredible add to this community. Such a talented shooter, a talented teacher, a super helpful guy, and I'm helping him bring back a failing photography business. And this is our last and final Best in Show. This is Garan Rath, everybody. Best in Show, Garan. Congratulations. Incredibly timely, amazing photo. Right on the button. Right on the button. Guys, I can only pick 3. There's so many other really top contenders. I'm looking at shadow detail. I'm looking at sharpness. I'm looking at idea. There's so many things that I have to now bring into consideration. I'm also looking at difficulty, and Garan was at the top of the heap for difficulty. So he took the prize. There were some real close contenders. But again, take one last look at Garan Rath. Best in Show. Kyle, Best in Show. And who was the first one that I said for Best in Show? The first one that I said for Best in Show was, Juan Herrera. Congratulations. Guys, your assignment this week, if you choose to do it, is shoot a advertising hero picture within your niche. Advertising hero picture within your niche. It should be vertical. It should be 4,000 pixels wide on the top, which is wide. Doesn't matter whether it's horizontal or vertical. There is a wide side. Make that 4,000 pixels. If you're doing it in Lightroom, what the length side is, leave it blank. I don't mean put 0. I mean delete
everything. Just put nothing there. What that does is it'll make it 4,000 by the proper proportions as to the length, but it'll definitely make it 4,000 wide. So 4,000 by nothing at 100 DPI is how you size them. Those are your best in show. Those are your photos of the week. That's your assignment. I will be back Sunday. And the last thing I got to talk about is my professional photographer's accelerator. If you've made it to the end of this show, if you're struggling, if you're a photographer who's trying to get to the next level, my accelerator starts Sunday. You will not be able to access it once it starts. I am now with this particular group of 49 people. We're trying to get this up to like 60. So I have slots for some people, but what we're trying to do is I'm trying to take everybody together at the same pace to the finish line. Everybody working on the same stuff at the same time. And the curriculum, the program, I actually have goosebumps. I've never been so excited to deliver information as the information that I deliver in my accelerator. So I'd love you to be in there. The price doubles every month. I mean, it doubles every cycle. It doesn't double every month. It doubles every cycle. It started at $50 a month. It's now $97 a month because I'm creating that kind of transformation. And then in January, it'll probably be $197 a month and around there. It's the vibe. And it's demand, supply, and transformation. If I'm creating transformation and you pay me $200 a month, but then you make $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $4,000, is not worth $200. Right now, it's $97. It closes August 10th at midnight. I have my website set up. As soon as it hits midnight, you will not be able to join, and then it's locked, and I can just focus on the people who are in there and not have to worry about promoting it or talking about it. So I won't be talking about my accelerator ever really much again. Today's the last episode that I'm going to be talking about it. The next time that I'm talking about it, I'll be delivering it. thecartymethod.com/accelerator. That's where you go. If it's not ready for you right now, at least join my free community, which is how we all communicate. It's an incredible thing. At the very least, join my YouTube submissions, which you just watched. I can create these transformations like I create for these fine people for you. I hope today brought you value. This has been Behind the Picture. Expect some new intros. I'm going to be doing that soon. They're actually outros because I play my intro at the end so I can get right into my content. I hope this brought you value. This 3-hour plus commercial-free stream has been brought to you by the members of this channel and the people who gift memberships. Without the gifteds, without people getting memberships, and hey, if you've got gifted a membership, pay it forward and continue that membership once it expires. How many people go on from on membership, off membership, on membership, off? Like, if you want information, you just want information, right? I don't want that information on a faucet that turns off and back on. Guys, if you became a member recently, you are going to see your name, like Joshua Haney, scrolling across the top of the screen, like Freddie and Colin and Thomas. All of you names scrolling across the top make it so I can do these commercial-free streams for 3 hours. Also know, if you got gifted a membership, your name's going to be up there as well. If you're scrolling across the bottom of the screen, that's because you're a new subscriber. You recently just found me, like Kara Jones or like Thomas Keller. Thank you for finding me. I hope this content brings you value. You could help me by making a clip and sharing it to your social networks. You could help me by talking about me to people if I've created any kind of transformation for you. And you can also help me by visiting the description in the show notes. There's all kinds of helpful links, all kinds of free stuff. And you can also do the professional photographer's readiness checklist to see how ready you are to be a pro.